So moving forward, I don't want to do a full out calendar class right now. Is the screen sharing, Shamoria?
Yes.
So those people who are new, we got full breakdowns on how we do things here at the Torah Group. We are in our new year. We are in the first month. Some assemblies are in their 12th, 11th month or 12th month. Some people won't be in New Year till April. I'm going to show you some history real quick for new people, but to do a full study, you can go to the channel, and we have several different classes. We broke them down into like 30-40 minute clips to make them easier to digest, especially for new people who are not, who just getting acclimated with studying. But I would start with really the Shabbat class, because the Shabbat class is the sign that you're his people. But you can go here. The Greeks invent the globe and get a full breakdown about their system. What constitutes a year? 12 or 13 months is another part of the calendar class we did. You see here, the master timepiece, is it the sun or the moon? Do we start our days at sunrise or sunset? And then we have calendar confusion being sunburn. And then calendar confusions, the great I am needs help. So these are full breakdowns on the way we've studied and did our best to reconnect with the Most High. We encourage everyone to study these classes. If we miss something, if you find some more information that we may have missed and we could be in error, we are all brothers and sisters. We encourage you to share that information with us so we can take a look at it and correct anything that we got wrong. But we are oddballs even inside the Israelite community, because I refuse to follow the crowd. I refuse to do monkey see, monkey do. If it's not right, it's not right. And if I got it wrong, I'm not embarrassed. Show me your receipts, show me your witnesses, and we're going to correct it. So these are the classes you want to check out if you want a full study on a calendar. But I'm going to show you how, with research, we pretty much know that we're in line with Avaya closer than anybody. It doesn't make us better than them. It doesn't make us smarter than them. It's just that some of us need to know. Some of us want to know. I never want to get to, oh, I got the commandments and I don't care about no feast schedule. No, because if Avaya tells you to be at Mount Sinai at 6 a.m., and you set your clock slow and you get there at 6 a.m. on your watch, 6 a.m. on your watch ain't 6 a.m. on the Father's watch. So I do my best to get to the nitty gritty and to practice pre-exilic ways. I don't want anything that they started doing in Babylon. Don't bring me nothing that they started doing in Babylon. I want to get to what our ancestors were doing when Yahweh Joshua had us. Because those elders played no games. If the Father says celebrate Pesach on the 14th day of the first moon, that's what they did. They don't care who had them oppressed. We're going to honor our Father. Kill me, throw me in the furnace. So I want to show you a couple websites I came across, and I'm down to like my third laptop, I believe. And one year, family, I found this website that actually said that according to the lunar calendar, 1 year Pesach fell in February. And I can't find, I don't know, if I come across that website again, I'm definitely going to share it and bookmark it. But I just want to share with you a couple notes that you can add to your library to show you that we can't follow these pagans whatsoever. Yasha, can you hit the lights real quick for us? So this is the website, and it's not I just started Googling stuff, so I didn't, this is not really a deep research here. But what did I search for this? I think I started searching Google for spring in March or spring and something. So spring 2021 in the United States, right? So I'm trying to make this big. So this was last year of 2021 for them, right? And they say spring starts Saturday, March the 20th at 3:37 a.m. Springs ends Sunday, June the 20th at 9:32 p.m. Already off the bat, what do y'all notice about this? Well, what's wrong with this? Already.
Why does it start in the middle of the night?
Middle of the night. That's a good point. Why is it starting in the middle of the night? That's a good point. Anything else? How many seasons do we have?
Two.
Two. We don't have a spring or fall or autumn. So we only have 2 seasons. So already they're out of line with Abiyah. Yashaya?
Something I noticed a few years ago, it seems like the start of spring is always March 20th, no matter what day it is, no matter how the temperature is. The first day of spring is March 20th.
Always
That's
March
a good
20th.
point. That's a good point.
Always March 20th. And reason why spring is always March the 20th on the Roman calendar is because Julius Caesar said it that way. But for this website, I just want to point out something I found so funny. Astronomical and meteorological spring. How many springs do you got? Shamaria, can you read this for us, please? I was like, what?
Astronomical and meteorological spring. Astronomical spring is determined by the changing positions of the Earth relative to the sun, giving us the solstices and the equinoxes. Stop. The positions of the Earth don't change. That's already step one. So seasons are caused by the tilt of the Earth on its axis by 23.5 degrees. How do they know that? The tilt of the Earth does not change as it goes around the sun goes around the Earth. So in the northern hemisphere, the Earth is tilted toward the sun in June and away from the sun in December.
Stop. It says the Earth is tilting at different angles during different times of the year. The Earth is tilting. Me and my wife got addicted to a show called Homestead Rehab.
Homestead, the Ramses.
The Ramses. This man from Arizona, he's a real country.
No, Alaska.
Alaska, man. So we're addicted to this show because it shows you how to build your homestead and how to get it stable. And sometimes they get to a homestead that has no water out in the desert somewhere. Or they'll find they're in a mountain and they do got water up in a spring, but it's too far from the home. And sometimes they'll bring a drilling truck in. And all the shows we watch where they start drilling in the earth for water and they find water. Quinn, does the water ever shoot up at an angle? Water always shoot up what?
Straight up.
Straight up and down. Whether it be in Alaska, Georgia, every time they dig for water, y'all ever seen the oil rigs?
I was about to say that.
You ever seen oil coming out of the earth, slanted on an angle? It's always straight up. So what are you talking about? Astronomical spring, earth is tilted. You see the madness they made us learn in their schools? So everybody following this type of calendar system, no disrespect, but you're not going to be online with Abiyah. What you're doing following the system, you're actually calling Abiyah a liar. So, did you finish that, Abiyah?
I stopped at December.
Okay, go ahead.
When the sun is over the equator, you have the equinoxes, and when the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer in the most northern position, you have the summer solstice, and conversely, when the sun is over the most southern position, over the Tropic of Capricorn, you have the winter solstice. I have a question.
Go ahead.
It just said the earth was tilting and moving around the sun, but now here it's saying the sun is moving and it might be over the equator one time. You see what I'm saying?
You see this convolution? You see this madness? And if you put Y'all in their schools, he got to learn this, or he's gonna be classified.
Oh, no.
He has a learning disability. No, he's asking a lot. A kid asks a one-word question that is stump you. Why?
Why?
I Googled
Because
one
I said
time
so.
when, why was the sun or the moon look so close at times, right? Just to see what it would
It's
say.
for a bet.
I said, I Googled one time, why does the sun or the moon look so close at point in times?
Mhm.
And NASA, the official NASA website, tells you that it is an optical illusion that is played on everybody that's looking at it. So your mind, and they don't know why it looks so close, but it's a trick.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, right?
They telling you.
No answer, so they make up
They
something.
make up stuff.
Stuff, bro.
This is the madness. So when we come back to Abba, the Israelite way, people may come at you. And if people come at you, just send them to me. I'm in war mode. Now, if they want to learn, they want to, you teach them patiently. But if they start scoffing, y'all in Pesach already, just say, my Moreh wants to talk to you. Because I mean, whether you're an Israelite or not, when you start scoffing, you're going too far. I had enough of it. I've been in this too long now. So if you want to ask me questions with patience in class, teach them. But when they want to buck up and get Brody, I'm all you need. Call me. Call me.
It says the March equinox occurs in the northern hemisphere between the dates of March 19th through the 21st, followed by the summer solstice, June 20th to the 22nd, and then the September equinox, September 21st to the 23rd, and finally the winter solstice, December 20th to the 23rd. In the United States, most of North America, Europe, and many countries in the northern hemisphere, they use the astronomical spring to determine when spring officially starts and ends.
So already y'all making up stuff that you can't verify. There is no spring, so you're using this astronomical spring that's non-existent. But if you set your calendar up like that, based around that, you're going to be off. Now let's read meteorological spring.
Meteorological spring is determined by the annual temperature cycles and the Gregorian calendar. And meteorological spring starts March the 1st in the northern hemisphere and lasts 3 months, March, April, and May, with the summer season, June, July, and August, and then the autumn season, September, October, and November, and then finally the winter season, December, January, and February. Australia and New Zealand in the southern hemisphere use the meteorological spring. Thus, the months of September, October, and November determine their spring season.
All this is abomination because it's calling our Abba a liar. The Most High says, I give you 6 months of cold and 6 months of heat. He didn't break it down into 4 seasons, but Abba is a master planner. He just don't spring ice on you. He start letting you know what about September, like Tabernacles, we were out there sweating.
Yeah.
We were out in Tabernacles with a fan on. The next week after Tabernacles, the wind came in. That's signs that we're in line with our Yah. So the Most High is loving. So the pagans break his seasons down into 4. He don't. I'm gradually letting you see it's getting cool. It's time to plant your winter crops. So this mess is abomination. So let me show you how our ancestors saw the world.
And just while you're going there, this is kind of helped me a little bit because you know that one part we always talk about how they try to say it has to be in this gate at this time. But you notice a lot of them base that on, well, see here, the equinox happened on March the 20th. Then you have to go to the moon and the sun, blah, 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 after that. But if you starting, even though you're saying you're coming off of Babylon, Gregorian, and Rome, if you're still starting the base of your new year because it has to start after the spring equinox, you starting off wrong from the beginning, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
What I'm saying?
Perfect sense. Perfect sense.
Based on the Greek.
On the wrong.
They don't know that. They coming off of Rome, they trying, they thinking that they got something, they read Enoch, but then you'll say the spring equinox was March the 20th. So we had to wait until April to have the first month of our year. So now we're in the first month of another year, and then they're in the 10th month of the previous year.
And there is no equinox, because the equinox, if you, and again, I didn't want to go to a full calendar class, but they're telling you the equinox happens when the sun is perfectly over the equator. The equator, there is no equator.
Imaginary.
The equator is based on the earth being a ball. The earth is not a ball. So you're waiting for the sun to get to the fourth gate in the equator. I'm telling you, you guys gotta be strong. And if you need witnesses or you don't have witnesses, ask them for their witnesses. And they won't be able to get, this is gonna be stuff they heard, stuff and people latch on to teachers and information. We don't do that here. Yes, I'm the head, but I'm your brother in arms. Go ahead.
No, I just making this is something that my captain said that he got blitzed on.
We're not doing that here, family. We're not doing that here. Can you take us to, I think it's 2 Samuel. Let me pull it up. I want to read this with this picture.
Sun stood still.
No, let's go to, try 1 Samuel 2 and 8. Let's see what he says there. 1 Samuel 2 and 8. 1 Samuel 2 and 8. Let's go to 1 Samuel 2 and 8. Then I want to share this image. Shema, when you have it.
Shema.
You want to get the Septuagint?
For the sake of time, we don't. You can. Yeah, let's get in the habit of that. We're going to check in the KJV and the Septuagint.
That's Kings, right?
First Kings. First Samuel is going to be First Kings.
I ain't went through all that yet.
And the Septuagint is going to be First Kings. So we're going to read 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 8. Your Septuagint is the 1 Kings chapter 2.
1 Kings chapter 2.
And I hope the screen is still sharing. This is the universe according to our ancestors. This is how the earth looks to the ancients. And again, you can find this image on Google. All I did was type in, because I came across it years ago, the world according to the ancient Israelites or something like that. And Google will pull this up. Just click on images and this images comes up. So type in your Google search, the world according to the ancient Hebrews, and click on images, and this images, you can download this image and save it to your phone or whatever.
1 Samuel, 1 Kings or 1 Kingdoms 2 and 8 in the Septuagint. It says, he lifts up the poor from the earth. That's what you want, right? And from the dung pile, he raises the beggar to sit him with the princes of the people and makes him to inherit the throne of glory. Giving to the one who truly prays, he blesses also the years of the righteous. Because a man is not mighty in strength, Yahweh will make his adversary weak. Yahweh is Kadash. The wise must not boast in his wisdom, and the strong must not boast in his strength, and the wealthy must not boast in his wealth.
Okay, that's not it.
Okay.
That's not it. I'm sorry, y'all. Salakia, I left my notes at work.
Mama.
Please. I'll wait to hear back.
Okay.
I mean, 8 and 9 does apply though, Mara.
You see the pillars of the earth there?
Yeah.
In the KJV, I see where it says pillars of the earth.
Read in the KJV.
It says, for the pillars of the earth are Yahweh's, and he has set the world upon them.
Read it again up.
It says, for the pillars of the earth are Yahweh's, and he has set the world upon them.
This matches this image that our ancestors drew. And before the Greeks took over and the Greeks became the doctors and the know-it-alls, this is the images that scientists used to draw of the earth. The Most High set the earth on pillars. Y'all see those things going into the earth? Those are the pillars of the earth. And y'all see how the water comes up out the earth? In school, they taught us they were geysers and stuff. And sometimes the geysers open up. In Genesis, the Most High called him, he opened up the abyss, the mouth of the abyss. This is so you see the waters above the firmament, that's the sky that you see, the blue. And you see we're below the waters above the firmament. This is what the realm we live in. This is what we're supposed to rule. But this thing about the earth being a ball and tilting on its axis is nonsense.
In the Septuagint, it does say he will judge the heights of the earth. So heights, meaning that you have to go from the floor to
the height.
Right.
How can you find the height of a ball? A ball is 360. How do you know if you're at the bottom or at the top? So anybody's calendar that's based on the earth being a ball, they're going to be off. So that's why they're looking at us like, y'all already into it? Yeah, because the research puts us here. If you can show me some research that we're off, by all means, call us. We're all Hebrews. We're all Israelites learning. Come on, let's sit down. But over the years, every time we go over the calendar and I says, let me be humble and I'm going to act like this is my first time going over this topic, we just find more and more witnesses to confirm what we already been doing. So this is the image of the earth. It's not a ball. It's not a globe. This is what the Most High set the earth on pillars. And again, we ain't going to get into a full calendar class, but he said, I set the earth and hung it that it moves not. So your calendar is about the earth revolving and the sun going around. That's why you're off. That's why you're off, family. So let's get into some more witnesses.
The supporting documentation is no good.
No good.
Especially when even the people that they get the source from is saying that, well, this line is imaginary and this ain't really here. It's like, well,
the equator is an imaginary line, and you basing your equinox on that. So that was one website about 2 different springs that these people have, and we don't have now one spring. We have summer and fall, right? Let's go to the next one. Okay, we get 86 that. Let's meet Mercedonis. Let's meet Mercedonis. Let's read about this abomination.
if you want to make it bigger, they got Reed bundled up there too.
Oh, Con, that's why I used this. Thank you. Y'all know I get excited exposing these devils. Can you read that out?
Meet Mercedonis, the annoying month that used to exist. Oh my.
Sometimes.
Wow.
It used to exist sometimes. Read on.
Wow. There are many reasons to be thankful for the benefits of modern living. Antibiotics, airplanes, Velcro. Another subtle but essential item is our calendar. It may have some frustrating moments, but consider how months used to work. Take heed of Mercedonius. In the days of the Roman calendar, an intercalary month was added in leap years and a few other times as well. This month was called Mercedonius or Adonius, but it is also known as intercalarius or intercalaris. The insertion of a leap day, week, or month into some years is called intercalation. It is done to align the calendar with the seasons or moon phases. The name Mercedonius comes from the Latin word mercies, which means wages. It got its name because workers were paid at that time of year. The Mercedonius occurred around the month of Februaris.
So that's all we need for this website. Book, chapter, and verse about inserting a day or week or a whole month. Why? Sometimes. Sometimes. When did the Most High tell us sometimes I'm going to have to add?
I do not change.
I changed not.
You know, this
This is the man. That's why we look like weirdos.
months come from.
That's what I was.
Like, it's crazy how
Now we can
decided.
I didn't want to do a full calendar class. Now you see why people follow 13 months, and now you come with calculations. Well, the barley's not right, so we gotta wait. What did the Father says if the barley's not right, add another month? When? Again, we're not doing a full calendar class.
Or even they say that it's not necessarily, that's what I've heard, that it's not necessarily another month, but we gotta wait until the moon comes after the blah, blah, blah. But see, that's what they're saying right here. This, and they don't know this, that's where they got this from, but that's what it's saying. It said we gotta match the month with the seasons with the moon. So it's just like, oh.
They're trying to keep their sun worship from being exposed. So they're doing man-made things, trying not to be exposed, that they're out of line. And Rome was the last fourth beast. Rome, you don't know what's going on. You're just copying off Babylon and the Egyptians. That's all you're doing. So now us are coming in and you ain't asking questions. You're seeing it like in church. I'm saved, I'm done smoking and fornicating, hallelujah. So the pastor said you got to give tithes every 2 weeks. That's what you do. You don't read the tithes for Levites. Now you come to the Israelite, well, we're celebrating 13 months. Bless Yahuwah, oh Yahuwah. Where in the scripture is 13 months?
No, that's a lie.
Oh, so he has something first. Go ahead, go online. Who's that?
Oh yeah, that was me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking a couple of days ago. I had something that just struck my mind as far as the months go. So just thinking off the word Septuagint, and being a Spanish speaker myself, I know what the prefix of that word in Spanish is 7. Because when you say 7 in Spanish, you're saying, or when you're saying 70, you're saying set or setenta.
That's what it means.
So, yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, I know Spanish, or as far as the Spaniards, they didn't have that language. That language evolved. So I know them that they're getting it through Greek and through other languages until Spanish was able to evolve. So then I'm like, wait a minute. If that means 70, and even the word 7 is still the same thing, as far as the prefix, when you look at, and I'm thinking, okay, when does our new year actually begin? So then you got February, late or early March, but we're thinking like February, more likely, like mid or late. So then when you go March, April, May, June, July, August, September, that's 7 right there.
That's the 7th month.
So if I didn't know Spanish, or even if I wasn't doing then I wouldn't even got that, little bit of a revelation right there. But it just hit me. I'm like, wait a minute. It's you see it in natural, you see it in nature, you see it in the language, but they tell you something else. But they teach you a lie, but in the lie, you still find truth.
Every lie, there's a little bit of truth.
He actually said something right there. Dang.
Hold on, y'all had something, y'all.
Yeah, and just that's powerful. Just powerful, and just a witness against the 12th month. No, not 13th month. It is 1 Kings 4:7. That Solomon had 12 officers, all over all Yashar, which provided victuals for the king and his household, each man his month in a year made provision.
And that's all in the calendar classes, fam. I just wanted to hit the highlights for the new people and some of the old folks who've been around. It still messes you up. No one's in Passover yet. I don't care about no one. I remember Mama asked me, kids are wearing that? Mom, I'm wearing this. I don't follow the crowd. So you get Israelites who've been in, and it's like still church. Like, I don't know about that. No one's celebrating Passover yet. No one's going to heaven either, huh? So we got receipts to let you know, as best we can prove, we're in line with Abba Yah. We're in line with Abba Yah. But this is just the highlights, because we still got a classic over. Can you? This is an article from 2017. Can you read this for us, Ab? How's it showing? Is it small?
For them, it might be, yeah. It's March 1, but spring got started weeks ago.
This was 5 years ago. January 3rd, 5 years ago, he's saying it's March the 1st, but spring got started weeks ago. Read on.
As warmer days wake parts of nature from their winter slumber earlier and earlier, ancient cycles are being restored, should say, being broken.
Ancient Roman cycles, but the ancient Israelite cycles of Yah, it's always been like this.
Right.
You scientists are just catching up. So this, whoever it is, they're seeing stuff, but you can't go against your professors. You can't go against your colleagues because you're going to lose your money.
They're telling me that spring starts March 19th through the 21st, but I'm seeing flowers grown in February or a week earlier in March, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks earlier than March.
Y'all see why I send y'all pictures so y'all can be my witnesses?
Yeah, but shall I?
So
January. This year I had dating lines in January. Go ahead.
So I-
I heard. Hold on. I think Nariah was coming through first.
well, I was going to say something about this a few minutes ago, right when Abishai finished speaking. Last night and early this morning, even though it was chilly, right before that wind came in, because we know it rained a lot yesterday over here on the East Coast. If y'all were outside at all in the evening, now, can somebody verify for me if frogs are like warm weather animals?
Frogs are shut
Or
up.
warm weather creatures?
Hey, bro.
And the reason I say that is because during
It's probably a delay.
Yeah,
during
yeah.
like the winter seasons. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, it's just a little delay. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, like I noticed last night that the frogs were singing last night. And I was like, wait a minute, man. Like during the winter, you don't really hear it as loud as it was last night. And then I started thinking about it. Well, summer is going to start in about 2 weeks. And, you know, these are just some of the signs, just like you always take pictures of the dandelions and things like that. So I was just listening, and it made me think of the conversation that we had with, I think it was Sister Barb, and she was asking, how do you know when the beginning of the year really is if you didn't have anything other than the moon? And those are just two things that I noticed. Like I said, you always take a picture of the dandelions when they first sprout. And then last night, I just observed that the frogs were singing more. And I'm telling you, it was like loud. So I wanted to know, because like during the winter, you don't really hear frogs at all just because it's so cold. So that was just something that I had noticed, and I wanted to mention to everybody.
Yeah, he got a comment.
Y'all can got some experience with this.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
man. Hey, like 2 nights ago, frogs were singing at my house, and I seen dandelions as well. And flocks, just so many flocks of birds just showing up at my house. So many. That's been all week. And you know, when the birds start coming, that's because they start moving back from up north. So from south, they started coming back up north is where they were coming. They already went down south. So now they're coming back up north, but same thing with the frogs, bro. It's the same thing.
So without the moon, if you were somewhere in the moon, that you would, us being, but now we're office workers. Now we do, that's why I pay attention to, this morning I came out, it was cold, but I seen this star. I said, it was so bright. And I'm looking and it's cold. I just started my car up. I'm like, Father, is that a star watching over us, or is that a plane? I'm like, I'm like looking for the move, and it was brighter than bright. I'm like, maybe that's a star watching over my neighborhood. And then when I went into the house, I said, if it's out when I go in my car, I'm gonna praise Abba Yah. So when I went to leave for work this morning, it was, even the sun was coming up, all the other stars started getting dim because the sun's coming from the east. This star was still shining. And I'm like, Abba Yah, that's one of your malaks. Praise be to Abba Yah, watch over our homes. So, Nariah, your question is, the Most High's nature tells us what time it is. Dogs going to heat at a certain time. What dog want to carry around a stomach full of babies in the winter? That would make no sense. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so, Gerald had some. I think I heard Gerald come through.
Yeah, it was funny, Shalakia. I was gonna say exactly what this article I'm sure is about to go into because as you said that as the title said, it's March 1st, but spring has already started. I was gonna say, but you know the narrative they use to like deter people from knowing that they lying. And then as you strolled up and I'm looking at this paragraph, it's gonna say exactly what I was about to refer to. So I digress.
Okay, Con, the water for that. Queen, you got something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something I wanted to say earlier about my it's hot. My coworker is Filipina, and we're doing these Zoom meetings now. A lot of people put these backgrounds in just for conversational pieces, and so she had the Chinese New Year in her background. And while we're on the calendar piece, our supervisor says, "Oh, Jasmine, that's right. You guys are in your calendar New Year." And she's like, "Oh yeah, we do the real New Year." And she says, "Well, what will you do to celebrate this Chinese New Year, this lunar New Year?" And she says, "Well, I won't celebrate it like I used to celebrate it back home. But back home, there's no work for a whole week. Like, so their lunar New Year, they do no work. They have all these whatever. Not that they're like us, but it's just like they are more in touch with the
moon. That's why I sent you that article on Telegram when Gina said that. I said, babe.
Yeah.
And Gina said that. I said, let me Google, and it's Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year.
12 months in February, 12 months is over. They're going into New Year.
But it made me smile because they take off their businesses are shut down for an entire week. He says in China, all the Asian communities, they do a whole week. There's no work, but there's, festivities.
That's us when we get back home. When we get home, it's a whole week.
Yeah.
Whole week just playing backgammon, shooting the breeze, fishing, whole week.
Yeah.
It's hot as a firecracker. So we're gonna read this article real quick. And I got one more resource and we're gonna move on. So this is March. Spring started March 1st, but spring started weeks earlier, right? Spring is arriving even earlier in the Northern Hemisphere. And what they're gonna bring out, family, one sad species in Greenland is now springing to grow 26 days earlier than it did a decade ago. And in the wintry United States, spring arrived 22 days earlier this year in Washington, D.C., the national capital. Now, watch the cap up. Can you take over?
The evidence comes from those silent witnesses, the natural things that respond to climate signals, the relatively new science of phenology, the calendar record of first bud, first flower, first nesting behavior, and first migrant arrivals has over the last 3 decades repeatedly confirmed meteorological fears of global warming as a consequence of the combustion of fossil fuels.
So this is what Gerald was alluding to. They're going to try to cap you and say it's global warming. No, it's not no global warming. It's been doing this. Y'all just been stuck on Greek and Roman fiction, and you ain't been paying attention. This has been happening since I've been paying attention every January. 1 year, 2 years ago, not this January, so last January, we had snow in the backyard, and a dandelion was still coming through the snow in January.
And some of that mixture and confusion comes from them tampering with the weather too. Now I ain't trying to go, but that and all the spraying and stuff that they've been doing in the air with the chemtrails and stuff like that. So that's trying to cover up. It kind of convolutes what period of time we're in.
So, like Gerald was about to mention, they're going to try to cap you off for saying, yeah, it's global warming. It's not global warming. They've been talking about, anybody went to school in the 80s? Gerald, you went to school in the 80s?
Nope, 90s.
Well, me and Gina grew up in the 80s, and they had you scared to go outside. It's a hole in the ozone layer. And if you go outside, it's going to burn you up.
That's crazy.
Did they ever get back to us about that hole in the ozone layer?
No more about it.
They started making special deodorants and lotions, protect you from the hole. The sun is burning hot. How'd you get so close to the sun to know there's a hole up there? Just making up stuff. And you gotta learn this if you want to get a diploma. I'm a doctor.
And Shalakia,
Wow.
if we ain't crazy, if we ain't careful, Shalakia, if we not careful, because I think me and Shamari, I mentioned this the last time we talked about Romans when they talk about things in nature pretty much is out of order. You know, so from a spiritual standpoint, you can excuse it because we've been recognizing stuff ain't the way that they've been saying it's supposed to be in science for years at this point. And we can just excuse it and say, well, it's just because things out in Israel is not back, you know, nature is groaning until the sons of God is revealed, you know, whatever, like Israel is not in charge. So things, but this particularly right now, when it comes to this stuff, like you're talking about, you know, that ain't the case. It's just that stuff been naturally happening the way the Most High set for it to happen. It's just they're trying to explain it away, whether it's from a spiritual perspective that your pastor may try to tell you an answer for that, or whether science may try to tell you another thing. They just, like you said, they're trying to cap you and they trying to explain it away to keep you from seeing what the Most High has already established, because it's all about trying to eliminate his existence.
Birds falling through the sky, the fish, always a high bacteria level. But second Ezra, the Most High said it's gonna be stinking fish. The Most High, so it's gonna be animals out of place. Oh, look at the bear. Hey, ain't no bear supposed to be in your backyard. Bears smell you. Bears don't want to be around humans. And you think it's cute. They got Ralphie. The Most High told us this is what happened, and you think it's just, no, the Most High is about to wreak havoc on this earth, family. Last witness, we're going to move on to today's topic, y'all. Gears of confusion, the origins of the modern calendar. Y'all sitting down for this? I know I make this one bigger.
Yeah, they got you click read mode.
Oh, thank you. See, that's why we need the family. That's why I need you, brothers. Years of confusion, the origins of the modern calendar, and this is recent. And if y'all respect their system, y'all see that name up there, right? He's a what?
Doctor.
He's a doctor.
Demetrios.
Doctor. And this was just last May 7th, right? And this doctor wrote this, right?
Sound like a G.
So let's read this one paragraph here. I hope y'all sitting down.
We are taught that the spring equinox, when the sun is precisely overhead the imaginary equator, and when the day equals the night everywhere in the whole world, falls exactly on March the 20th.
No, but see, it's funny to us because, like, who was recording lightning? Who set up, like, okay, sun came up over here at 5 a.m. What time it come up over there? Where's your witnesses for this?
I think the only way we know equal, this is another question for later, but equal parts day and night is because the Most High had to have the angel literally tell
Telling
him.
people day
That's
and
the
night.
only way he would have known.
No. We're just getting up when the sun come up. Which one of y'all sat outside with your chair and timed this thing? And then it's y'all's sun. So when are you going to gauge it when the sun come up? Because if you go to work early like me, and I'm going to work, I see the sun, the cloud go from dark to blue, to blue, to blue, to blue. So at what point are you going to say it's daytime? Y'all determines that. So you got people around the world all sitting somewhere on chairs and saying, yeah, I had 12 hours of sun and I had 12 hours of moon tonight. They're just making stuff up, family. Making stuff up.
But before Julius Caesar, the Roman leaders would think nothing of changing the calendar. I was going to talk about this. So they could collect taxes earlier, keep themselves in office, or if they felt like it, add a month so spring could arrive in March.
Say what?
They would add a month so that spring would arrive in March.
So wait a minute. You said they would add a month.
They would add a month.
So spring would arrive in
March.
So I'm not the smartest, y'all. You're adding a month, and that month you added made spring come in March. So if you didn't add that month,
it would have came in February.
Game over. When you follow Rome and Greek, you're following abominations.
I appreciate the Most High Spirit for continuing to just use you to point out certain things, because even though I know you might sometimes be like, oh, that, I want to go over this, blah, 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 but
I am tired of this.
hey,
It's my third year, babe.
Like you always end up finding something new or something extra. And like, even for me, I pretty much like mostly understand, but you always
you want black and white.
Right. You always go over things in your mind and try to say, okay, well, can I explain this?
Right.
How do I, and seeing some of these, and I think this one right here, it's really just really like hitting them over the head. Like when you basing your stuff off of any part of it, off of Rome, you're just gonna be off because they've been adding. So it's like you get one emperor or Khazar, he'll add a month and add or change like 10 years. Then the next one say, well, we got to go back and get those 10 years back. And we don't know what year we're in. And the only way we can count and know the year is changing is by counting the moons and then observing the climate and the creation that's changing. We can't see the sun go nowhere. We can't see the moon we can't see the stars and get this line and this gate. If somebody was interested as much as I was, then they would see why like this is so.
So this is something to add to your repertoire on top of the counter class. Because I don't want to be right. I don't care about being right. I want to be in line with Yah. So if you find witnesses that we're doing, we got something wrong, we're going to incorporate it. But as I keep going over this and double checking, the Most High like would do this. Like, oh my God, like. They add a month, so spring arrives in March. So if they didn't add a month, the things spring into life occurs in February, like we've seen. And it's not global warming. I've been tracking this now, empirical witness. Empirical means you're out there, no one telling you this. You're going out with your notebook and you're tracking for yourself. I've been tracking this for 3 years. And it's like, the flowers coming up. I came home from work last week, neighbor of the quarter cut the grass. Like, dang, God, you're making everybody look bad.
I know. You're so, but his grass is looking
His
so
grass
nice.
is looking good.
I'm like, wow.
I came home, like, I put a horn to him. Like, yeah, I'm like, oh my God, they cut a lawnmower out already. Right? So, family, reason why we're in our new year, reason why we're doing Pesach in February, because the Roman calendar is an abomination. They're not in line with Abiyah. And so that's why we do things according to Father's way, the best we know how. And this is just to add on to the calendar classes. Y'all go back and take your time and break those classes down and take your own notes. And like Shemoyah says, make sure that you can teach it. If you want to trust us while you're growing, that's fine, because you gotta take a chance on somebody. But even if in your studies, if you find something that don't line up, you can bring it to us, and we're not going to like chop your head off and kick you out or nothing. We're going to all study it together and see if we got witnesses. And if you turn out to be right, we're going to correct what we're doing, family.
Can I finish this just for the sake, like, cause this is crazy.
Go ahead.
It says, but when Julius Caesar visited Egypt, he was impressed by far more than Cleopatra's alluring eyes and agile mind. He watched her scientists in Alexandria use calendars to predict the flooding of the Nile and eclipses as well. Caesar decided it was time to reform the Roman calendar. To get things started, he added 2 additional months to the calendar, lining up the equinox. Simple, not exactly. His meddling is why the year 45 BC is known as the year of confusion, because it had 445 days. Then, because I just said this, not knowing, didn't read it, but then he was assassinated a year later. So now they got hit a whole new ruler. Sometimes I wonder if his messing with time contributed to Brutus's decision to join the conspiracy. And that's all I want. I can stop unless you want me to keep going.
No, we brought that out. That calendar year confusion, we brought that out in the calendar class. They had a year of 445 days, and then that was what, 1542 Wednesday night they went to bed. It was October 1st when they went to bed or something like that. The next morning they woke up, it was October 11th. You just take out 10 days when you see fit. Or like that one emperor says, oh, that last one, my predecessor, he can't rule longer than me, so I'm going to take 10 years from the calendar. So my rule be longer than his. Who does this?
And then that one that you had where it was real small print, and it was like where it might be like 100 or 200 years off.
In the Roman calendar. The Roman calendar may be 200 years off. So that's why these assemblies, all praise you're waking up, but some people just stop at the door. I know I'm Israel, know the commandments, and here we're going back to Zion here the best we can. If you can show us that we're off, and you can show us our ancestors wore red shirts on the first day of the week, and you can line it up, I'm gonna wear a red shirt first day of the week. That's how I am. That's how I am.
Shalakia, I second what Shamaria said earlier about the Most High using you, and I will assume, just to make 2 quick points, I will assume that you work full time, Murrah, and I know you had date night with your wife. I know you make time for your wife and your other responsibilities. So I will assume that your studying either comes early in the morning, which I'm leaning towards, or late at night, because I've been up like late my time in the morning, and you posted stuff and I commented on it, and I know everybody else probably was either asleep or just waking up. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, this dude is up early. So on top of that, it's like you're making the time to explore this stuff and search this stuff, and the Most High is revealing it to you, and you're coming across it and sharing it with us. On the other side, so we can assure that the Most High is using you in that way because you're making yourself available for him to use you. The other side, we are being blessed because we get it, we see it, it's clarification for us. We receive it in our heart, because the fact that you pointed out at first who wrote this article, that title, Doctor, right? When we think about what's going on right now with the glaze and everything, the first argument people want to say when you try to tell them is, well, the doctors are saying this. Let the people who educated, who know what they're talking about, I'm going by what they say. But if you showed somebody, your family, whoever in the awakening that disagree with your calendar position or whatever, if you showed them this article, and one of the doctors, one of the educated doctors of this world is telling you the truth about this subject, a lot of them still will reject it. So it don't make sense. It's like on one side, you do want to believe the doctors or the so-called people with the titles when it's supporting your point. But when I show you that the same people are telling you the truth about it to support my point, you still reject it. So it shows 2 things: how the Most High is using you, and how he in turn is also drawing us and working with our heart by helping us see this truth, because we could be ignorant and deluded just like everybody else and reject this clear information that you just presented.
He answered my prayers because I was running from this. I like I think Shamaria said, or somebody said earlier, most of the brothers who like seem to be putting down good work don't want to do it. They don't want to. Me and Gina are empty nesters, and we make we don't make a lot of money, but we could be really jet skiing like twice a year. But when the Most High gives you an assignment, you're gonna do that assignment or you're gonna die. So I was like, okay, Father, I gotta stop running because he beat the brakes off me. But I'm like, Father, I grew up in church. I hate church people. I hate church people because soon you say something they don't like, I'm going to the church up the street. Because he told you to stop whoring around. So I said, Father, just bring people around who really want you, really want the truth. And y'all know we went through a period that COVID came and it was like a ghost. First, people started dwindling off because the truth was like, told people the Messiah didn't die on Passover. You would have thought they killed cornbread in here. Wait a minute now. The Bible says he's our Passover. I know it says he's our Passover, but he didn't die in Passover. That day was like, the tension in here was like, you could cut it with a knife. And I'm like, Father, I'm gonna teach this truth. It was just me and my wife. I'm not sugarcoating and going along to get along so you can stay here. He didn't die on Passover. So COVID came, it was just me and Gina. And I'm like, I didn't want to close the body because I'm like, now you showing that you don't believe in Yah. But then it got just like just me and Gina. Like then Sister Angela started working on Saturdays. So, all right, babe, stop cooking. Then we went to the Zoom. And then it's like, no, I'm going back to the body. It was just, babe, I told Gina, you ain't got to come, babe. I'll be there by myself. And then Morad Douglas had that. Everybody's working together. And now Shamoya came. Never left. Can't pick him out. I'm home, baby. But his excitement and his love for y'all, wanting y'all to be in this truth. And we got a small group of righteous people who love this truth. My cousin found me on Facebook and came and put her. Never left. Gina made him a plate. That's all she wrote. This is the Most High, fam. So, but what I like about you all is you ask questions and you go very. We had too many people just soaking stuff up, repeating it, and you guys are verifying it. And if you do find a precept that says, hey, what about this? You come back and we share it. That's what we need, family. No one's bigger than the Torah. No one's bigger than the Most High. Queen?
Just wanted to add too, like one of the things that you said earlier, ask questions. If you don't understand, ask the question, because we had a family that came and fellowship with us for so long, and they were family, and it hurt when they left because it was something that they didn't understand, but they never asked the question.
That annoys me.
That they never asked the question and decided on their own that it wasn't right and that they were going to leave, and that's not, it's okay, you want to move on, but ask the question, find out. You know, maybe you are missing something. If you go on your own, maybe you didn't see it, or maybe we didn't see it.
Right.
So ask the question. That's important. If you don't know, ask.
If we're family and you see I'm going down the road and the bridge is out, you don't hop out the car. You tell me, hey, the bridge is out so we can hop out together. So that's what we're trying to do here. So thank you for that. All praise be to Abba Yah, Abba Sham Yahweh Sham Malak Nabah. I want to transition. I don't know how long this is going to take, but we're here all night. Gina made a great roast. I can't wait to get in. Had the whole house stinking last night. Woo. This roast is, man, I know it's going to be something good. I'm trying not to eat potatoes, but I might have to eat potatoes. But yeah, it was smelling so good last night. But I want y'all to set your minds, because we got a serious topic to get into. And like I said, it was on my heart so heavy while I was going through with my mom, thinking, I was about to bury my mom, and the Most High started dealing with me. And it was like, wow, like I was gonna bring this out that Saturday down there. And what happened, we had got some news, and me and Gina had to run around for my auntie, so we couldn't Zoom that Saturday. But I had this prepared to go over that Saturday to try to encourage you. But I want you all to, and please, we're not church folks, we're not putting on little errors. This is a question that you have to ask yourself in front of the mirror. Your wife can't answer this for you, your husband, your boo thing, your homeboy, no one can answer this question. But you gotta ask yourself, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and says, who can count on you? Who can count on you? Because like y'all were all saying for the praise reports, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, family. We're getting down to where the rubber meets the road. The grocery stores are empty. Everyone's posting, and my family live in the country, and their stores are empty in the country. So you imagine in the metropolitans, you thought they was fighting over toilet paper? Imagine when the last pack of pork hot dogs was on the shelf. Someone's going to be catching bullets. So you gotta ask, who can count on you? Some of us get a flat tire and mess our whole day up. Some of us get a parking ticket and I need a drink, I need a cigarette. Some of us get a mortgage late notice and ready to jump off a cliff. Some of us, they might be closing down a job. Oh, Frank, if you get off your square, like Abishai says, we always gotta be on go mode. This is where we're at. Playtime is, yes, I love me a new ox and shalom and new garments, but it's playtime is over. It's time to put on your overalls, and it's wartime. It's go time. I'm going to have to put this man down next to me. I'm not shaking your hand. It's not nice to meet you. I don't know you. I don't know. So you got to ask yourself, who can count on you? It's all good now. Like, hey, we got a little assembly. We got groceries. When you ain't ate in 5 days, who can count on you? Or you can be like, oh, they're giving out free cheese down there. All I got to do is get a bracelet. That bracelet is laced with all kind of poisons. Who can count on you? And you got to answer that for yourself. Shamoya, can you, and you know if you get tired, we got Ox to help. Let's start this study in Yashaya or Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 37. I got the Septuagint on the screen for the family online. We're going to try to transition to the Septuagint for the Old Testament. We're just finding too many contradictions, and these are not minor contradictions. So from here on out, I think I told you all, we're going to be reading from the Septuagint. We're going to open up with Isaiah or Yashaya chapter 37, and we're just going to read verses 1 through 7. Shema, when you have it. Shema. Read.
And it came to pass when King Hezekiah heard it, and then that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth and went into the house of Yahweh. And he sent Eliakim, who was over the household, and Shebaniah the scribe, and the elders of the priests, covered with sackcloth, unto Yashaya the prophet, the son of Amos. And they said unto him, Thus saith Hezekiah, this day is a day of trouble and of rebuke and of contumely. For the children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring forth. It may be Yahweh thy power will hear the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria, his master, has sent to reproach the living Elohim, and will rebuke the words which Yahweh the Elohim have heard. Wherefore, lift up thy prayer for the remnant that is left. So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Yashaya, and Yashaya said unto them.
1 second. So the backstory here, and we're just going to touch on it real briefly. The king of Assyria is talking big smack, wolf tickets, telling Hezekiah, or telling the Israelites, don't y'all believe Hezekiah. Don't y'all trust Hezekiah. Your power won't save you from me. Did the other nations God save them from me? Y'all come out and submit yourselves to the king of Assyria, and he will spare you. And Hezekiah knew enough to go to the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah or Yashaya had the reputation of being a stand-up man. He wasn't one of those wicked prophets who just prophesied for money, whose prophets throwing their children in the fire to Baal. He was worthy to be called on. Hezekiah probably hadn't even talked to him in a week or two. But in a time of contumely, the day of trouble, Hezekiah says, we got a righteous prophet. Servants, go see Yashaya. Who can count on you, family? Can we count on you for a word? That's what you got to ask yourself. Read on.
And Yashaya or Isaiah said unto them, Thus shall ye say to your master, Thus saith Yahweh, be not afraid of the words that thou hast heard, wherewith the servants of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Behold, I will put a rawak in him, a spirit in him, and he shall hear a rumor, and shall return unto his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land.
So y'all can finish the passage on your own. It happened just as the Most High said it would happen. We didn't even have to go fight. The Most High God says, I'm going to cause the king of Assyria to hear a rumor. That's who we are. But in the day of trouble, Hezekiah says, I know I can trust in Yahshua because he can hear from Yah. Can you be called on when we're down to our last dollar? Does anyone got a prayer line? Have you been fasting? That's what you got to ask yourself, because all this meeting people, we got to vet people. Can you be called on? Can you be called on? So when we're doing what we got to do, we call on Yah, and Yah every time is there. Yah was called on, and he answered. Yah called on who? Yah, and he answered. Can you be called on, or who can count on you? Let's go to our next passage. Go ahead.
I just want this just put something in my spirit, just reading it. And it shows you an example. I love these. It shows an example of how the Most High works. So like now imagine that was today modern, where this leader heard a rumor, went back to his hometown to take care of what he thought was a rumor and ended up dying. Now on a news report, if it was today, all they're going to report is tragedy. Let's just use tragedy in Lebanon. Leader, general of the military turned back from such and such, and then tragedy befell upon him. But not knowing the whole time, they'll never say, for one, they probably wouldn't know, but they will never say the Most High caused that to happen. You see what I'm saying? But now we know, because the Most High told specifically Isaiah that was going to happen, and Isaiah relayed the message. But the people, let's say, like I said, now in charge, when they see that in a broad spectrum, that man, that the king of Assyria, he don't know that it was the Most High that caused him to die. Mm-hmm. He just was. To the outsiders, it looked like an accident. But and that's showing me something about how trying to really. Yeah, it just shows.
I was getting bubbled up.
Yeah, it's showing me, like, don't you see that, my son? Don't you see, like, this is how I work? Because when we see things in the world, we're like, is it them or what is that? But the whole time, the Most High is doing even what people would call smallest things. Oh, well, such and such told me, we got an emergency. We need you to come back to the country and just handle this business, then we'll go back. He never knew, oh yeah, you're gonna go back to your hometown, then you're gonna die there. He didn't know that. Yeah. And the whole time, like I said, if you're on the outside looking in,
it's hard to see.
It's hard to see this. And we would know, Isaiah's like, yeah, Most High got him up out of there. Like it's I hope you can understand what I'm saying.
Well, to tie it in for people who may not be there with me and you, because I'm already with you, like Putin in Ukraine right now. Putin got about 20,000 troops, they said, babe. But he's saying, I'm not going to invade. And I'm like, I told Queen the other night, Putin don't know what he's going to do. Why, Yakanan? Because Yah is controlling Putin. Yah controls these kings. So Putin may say, tonight, I don't have no desire, just don't join the UN. But tonight, Most High put a spirit, I want Ukraine. That's who we are, for our benefit.
Right. That's what I'm talking. Like, it's
about it like this, bro. The Most High is the puppeteer. These rulers of these nations are puppets. These days, they're just being controlled. Yeah. I don't want to say manipulated, but
that's the word. They're pawns. China don't know what China. Y'all got all. Why y'all want to be in West Africa? Because y'all think this West Africa won't be the bricks off y'all? Look how y'all built. Y'all got flat board butts. Our women can put body slam y'all. And y'all want to be around these big, strong. Why y'all in Africa? My father's setting y'all up.
You know what hit my spirit a few days back, just looking at all this stuff with the war. I ain't talked to nobody about this. This is just me, but I was like, because they're talking about the wars and they're talking about the Russia, the not letting the Ukraine join NATO, and then we know that the United States is sending troops to help out at the border, and they're sending NATO is sending troops in Europe, but then China is still on the front with Taiwan, and then Israel actually did their first ever, you know what I mean. Israel did their first ever naval exercise in the Red Sea at the same time, and then the North Korea, South Korea beef, and then the Iran and the Israel beef. I said, well, the Most High did say, this is what came to me. The Most High did say, I'm going to gather all of the nations down to the valley of judgment. Now, we can speak on whether that's a specific land or what, but it just seemed like the Most High is getting all the players involved and getting them in this one conflict. And I'm like, man, this could be like he get like all of it at the same time. Like that's kind of unique to be happening.
Yeah, I was disappointed because we're going to be in Pesach in 2 weeks. And according to Septuagint, I can't say we ain't being redeemed this Pesach, but I don't think we're going to be redeemed this Pesach. But we see him getting things in order.
Yeah.
We see him getting things in order. And that's the beauty and the burden of what we got, because people see us passionate. We know you're about to be killed if you don't come back to these laws, statutes, commandments. The Father has no obligation to protect your house if you're not following these commandments. That's what hurt us with our family. So it's going to be us. You're going to have to go back to your mom and them. It may be you killing someone in the house, and now they see, you ain't crazy. Or they may still think you crazy, but because of that miracle, they're going to listen to you now. Didn't that happen with Yahushua? A lot of people, they thought he was crazy, but hey, he got that bread popping. So if he crazy or not, you ain't got no bread. He helped my cousin. That's going to be us. Who can count on you? That's what this class is about. Let's go to your Ramyah 30. Your Ramyah 30. And we're going to read the first 8 verses on. Jeremiah chapter 30, verses 1 through 8. Read.
The Barla Yaramyah.
Just practice.
Just practice.
The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, thus speaketh Yahweh, the Elohim of Yasha'Allah, saying,
The Elohim of the world,
the Elohim of Yasha'Allah,
of the Christians,
the Elohim of the Yasha'Allah, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will turn again the captivity of my people, Yasha'Allah and Yahweh, saith Yahweh. And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words Yahweh spake concerning Yasha'Allah and concerning Yahweh. For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness.
All of you are still young men. You haven't had your children yet. Yakana, was you there for the birth of your seed? Did your wife have a painless birth? No. Did you see the pain in her face? Was you holding her hand?
I was sitting right behind her.
Was she about to break your hand?
She wanted to.
The Most High says, I'm about to bring havoc to the earth. It's going to be so great. It's going to be like grown men having children. And if you never experienced that, that's why we honor the women, especially either you love that man or you were straight crazy to have 2 babies. Because after you've been through that one time, first of all, it's scary because you got the machines, all those noises, like, my girl all right, the baby all right? And then the women go through it 2 and 3 times. That's why we esteem the women. Now that they're God, we ain't no black woman, no God. We ain't with that. But they're beautiful creatures. But he says this day is coming. It's going to be like grown men having babies.
That's gonna be something.
That's going to be a day.
Shook ones.
Shook ones. You and I keeping Torah don't know if we're going to make it through. That's why we talking about our ox who fell asleep. Praise be to Yah. We could fall on this day that he's talking about. We could fall. You can get so scared, run out in traffic, boom, get hit by a truck. If you're not rooted and grounded into this book, who can count on you? Read on, Ab.
Alas, for that day is great, so that there is none like it. It is even the time of Yaakov or Yaakov's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh Tazabah, that I will break the yoke off thy neck and will burst thy hands and will burst thy bands, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
This is going to be the day that is all over for us. But this day is our future. And this day we're going to need strong men and women we can count on. This is the day coming, and we know Elohim is going to do his part. We ain't got to work. We know we can count on him. It's our weak minds. Mom is sick. Mom is shaking. And you already don't want to read no more. I ain't in the mood to read my Bible. This is the time you need to read it more than ever. Like Gerald went through this week. That's what the devil wants. He wants you to get so frustrated you don't talk this morning to him. He wants you to be so busy you don't pray this morning. I told my son, I started texting my son, because he's down here in Fayetteville now for the next 3 years. I said, son, I'm going to be sending you scriptures. I know you've grown now, making your own money, but this is the time you need God more than you ever think you did. I said, because you're on your own with your freedom. I said, now you got freedoms you never had before. You need to be a man of this book more than ever that you know it, that you ever thought you needed. You're away from mommy's house now. This is what the devil wants. He wants to get you frustrated. Now you ain't reading no verses. Now you ain't singing no songs. And this is the time when the devil pressed me, I do fall to get, like my mom, getting my feelings, but then the Most High, SELAH, Messiah starts whispering to you, be strong, my son, be strong. Can we count on you, family? Can we count on you? Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 20. Hadaboryom Hayawam, the sayings of the day. This is like a newspaper for Israel. Second Chronicles chapter 20, and we're just going to pull out verse 15. And the backstory, well, let's start at 13. I give the backstory here. We'll start at verse 13. The backstory is King Yashaphat is the king. He's a righteous king. And these nations are coming against our forefathers. And Yashaphat, the people are calling on Yashaphat, which means Yah judges, or the judge of Yah. And like, what are we going to do against these people? And we're just going to read the answer he gets. Let's start at 2 Chronicles 20 and verse 13. Shema.
Shema.
Read.
Wakal Yahweh and all Judah stood before Yahweh with their little ones, their wives, and their children. Then upon Yaziel, the son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Yaal, the son of Mattaniah, the Levite.
You see how the Levites got to list their lineage? If you don't see a Levite lineage going back to Levi like that, or going back to like one of the ancients, you really got to question that Levite. If he's saying he's a Levite, he should run down all his granddaddies like that. Y'all see that? That's the Levite culture.
Of the sons of Aspah came the Rawak of Yahweh in the midst of the congregation.
Again, family, we are facing destruction, and our whole nation is in an uproar, and we all standing before Yah, the wives and the children, hey, let's go to the temple. Let's cry out before Yah. And as we're in the temple crying out before Yah, the Rawat comes on, what's his name?
It says the Barak came in the midst of the congregation
upon Yahaza'al. So Yahaza'al is right for the spirit to come upon him. That means he's been living righteously. He's been living right. He's not been a weekend warrior with this. He's not just fasting and, oh, yeah, I get stronger. No, he's taking everything seriously. And so our nation needs an answer. The spirit goes on him. He was there to be counted on, family. Can we count on you when these days were coming? Because that's why I told y'all, I'm transparent. I don't hide nothing from y'all. I'm not saving nothing so y'all won't be smarter than me. No, we need everybody on the same level, because when I'm weak, my wife go down. I'm like, hey man, I'm going to give you a 40 ounce. I need y'all to say, no, but we done came too far. Y'all got her. I gotta be able to look you in your face and know that you really mean that. You ain't just saying that church stuff. Oh, God needed an angel. Don't come at me with that stuff. You gotta believe what you say. That's why I teach like I teach. So y'all can be sharp as me. Me and my wife got into this thing. When she got into this thing, our relationship got so much stronger. Our house got so much power in it. Because we're strong together. That's why I teach like this. So again, our nation is facing destruction, and the spirit of the Father drops down on our ancestor here. Read on.
And he said, hearken ye, all Judah, and ye inhabitants of Yerushalayim, or Jerusalem, and thou King Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh-Shaphat, thus saith Yahweh unto you, fear not ye, neither be dismayed by reason of this great multitude. For the battle is not yours, but your powers.
It's who?
Elohim.
It's who?
Yahweh.
Don't worry about that glaze. Don't worry about your house. Your father knows you need somewhere to stay down here. Your father's not asleep. Your father's not hard of learning. He knows you like to eat. He knows you like to chow down on some carbs. Don't be dismayed. Well, I don't know how to shoot no bow yet. Your father had the animals come lay at your feet. That's who we serve, family. So yes, I'm not ignorant. I'm trying to make provision. I'm trying to stack up the house with some meat, so be like the ant, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried. The battle is not ours, it's Yahweh's.
And just on that point, and I know Naraya and Antoine, we talked about this before, but remember I told y'all, I was like, man, our Elohim, he's so merciful that he even tells you ahead of time that the outcome. So he's like, yeah, you'll win that fight, or don't worry about it, I'll kill him for you. Or like, you see what I'm saying? Like right here, and here's another example. So he's saying, babies, children, kids, it's okay. Don't stress it. Y'all gonna be fine. Do you know how reassuring? Like other nations don't get that. They don't know their end. That's why they're trying to save what they have now.
Live forever.
Right. That's so
the AI.
The Most High is all now. He will do this to us again, come in the midst, and he has done it. But he's given us the written word that we can rely on, the prophecies like, hey, I done told y'all thousands of years ago, you're going to be fine. Like, I just want people to understand the Most High don't have to tell you. He could just let you just play it out. But his mercy is so great that he don't want you to be worried.
Anxiety. I need Xanax. So what they got out now, babe? What's the new stuff for
Xanax.
Xanax is old, right?
They still on it. That's the thing. They still on it. They still on it.
Perks.
Yeah.
Most High, he said, ask your fathers of old, did any ever trust in me and was confounded? I come through. I can be pattered on. I do my part. You gonna do your part? When they scoffing at you, oh, y'all think y'all Hebrews? Oh, you think you ain't gotta wear those fringes? That's the old law. Can you stand? They mocked your king. What you think they're gonna do to you? They mocked their king. They called their king a drunk. Well, I guess I don't stand a chance then. They say he has a devil. They said our king got a devil. What does that mean? No. Now my king got a devil. They must think, wait,
We got some devils.
the battle is not ours. This is when the rubber, me and my wife being around our family, really seeing like they have no clue.
Y'all felt like y'all was in the twilight zone. Like it was everything like you're there, but like you're outside
You're not really there.
of it, if that makes sense. Like, cause you're watching every little thing that they say and they do, and it's like, man.
Well, actually, and I don't know if he shared it because I think I left the room, but the infectious doctor, was his name, Dr. Myers says, man, he says, does your family look at you like you're an outsider? He said something like that.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah. And because he was just in awe. Where do you teach? Where are you, he was just asking all these questions. And it's like, that was probably the most connected we felt, even though he was, a stranger, but that was the most connected we felt because they are so deep rooted in Christianity that it was like some of the stuff that they were saying. And a lot of times you kind of take it as a jab because they know our stance and some stuff. So you can take some of the, you can take the little comments as a jab, so.
I just like, I'm not getting into no conversation with my brother about no scripture. First thing me and Gina did when we got there, I kissed my mom. I said, Mom, can we pray over you? And my auntie came. I really wanted, my first thought was ask everyone to leave the room because, you didn't hear my prayer. You full of swine and, you know what I mean? But my auntie, she came over and prayed, and thank you, Jesus. I'm like, but I know that she's innocent. She's ignorant to the truth. So that's the maturity level you and I got to get to. We're around these people, they haven't been blessed like you and I. But it's a blessing and, so to speak, it's a curse to be woke first. Can you imagine being the first one woke and everyone around you just doing Christmas? Yeah. Come get some of this ham, this good old ham.
But there's a special place for the Most High for the firstborn and for the first fruit. So just keep that in mind, and that's really happening. I think I've seen a lesson about that, but it just goes to show that there is always an example from the feast into the way that the nation works. And like you said, it's just first fruits, firstborn, to be reborn, to be reawakened, and it's just a greater responsibility with that.
So now I want to transition. We don't got too much more. Let's transition to, because y'all know they accuse us of only teaching or reading from the Old Testament. I want to transition to what they call the New Testament. We know it's not the New Testament. These writings are just records, or just diaries of our ancestors. But I want to show you how the Most High in His Son is laser focused on us. So those days when you're getting down, those days is hard, the pressure from job, pressure from the family, just remember He's laser focused on me. Little old me, dirtbag me, He's laser focused on me. Let's go to Matthew 10, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 5.
Matthew 10, verse 5. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and charged them, saying, go not into any way of the Gentiles, and enter not into any city of the Samaritans.
So already we see a problem with their Christian dogma. I know our classes overlap. That whole Great Commission that Jesus came for the world, He's sending out His henchmen. Right. He's sending out His fishermen, His hunters. And He said, don't even go to the Samaritans or the Gentiles, but go where?
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Yasharallah.
To the whole world?
To the lost sheep of the house of Yasharallah.
The heavens are laser focused on the children of Israel. All praises be upon our Yahweh.
Salakia, let me ask a question. And we're going there because I see two ways this can be looked at. So to the 12, now we know that Christ appeared to the kingdom of Judah, Benjamin, half the Levites. We know that the 10 tribe kingdom of Israel was already scattered like 2,000 years prior under the Assyrians. So we know how in the so-called New Testaments, how they play with the word Gentiles. And sometimes Gentiles are referring to our scattered brothers, but sometimes it's actually referred to people of the nations. So 5, these 12, Christ sent forth and charged them saying, go not into any way of the Gentiles. Okay, are we talking about our scattered brothers, or are we talking about real people of the nations here? And then,
Real
huh?
nation. This usage of Gentiles will be the strange nations.
Okay. And then, and enter not into any city of Samaritans, which is self-explanatory because we know Samaritans are half us and half Gentile nation, correct? So, meaning Israelites was mixed in with this other nation, and that's where the Samaritans come from, whatever the case may be. But we know them two are now, but then he say, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So my other thought is when you say house of Israel, we're talking about all of Jacob's sons, right? And when you say kingdom of Israel, we know we just talk about northern kingdom versus southern kingdom, correct?
I would ask the speaker to clarify because for me, I would say if I'm using Kingdom of Israel, I'm talking about the 12. So I would say ask that speaker to clarify what they're referring to.
Because we know in script, in text, in Torah, it refers to the kingdom of Israel and then it refers to the kingdom of Judah. So sometimes the statement kingdom of Israel will apply to the 10 tribe kingdom, but sometimes depending on context, it will apply to overall the kingdom because Christ's messianic kingdom reign, we can say that's kingdom of Israel because we know Israel will be ruling the earth at that time. So context does dictate it. But I just wanted to clarify what Gentiles are we talking about, and specifically to make sure the house of Israel, we're talking about all the 12. Appreciate it.
Sometimes in Gerald, sometimes when you read in Kings, the house of Israel also refers to the northern kingdom. It'll be the house of Judah and the house of Israel. So when in Matthew 10, when the way I read it, King Yahushua says, go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And Abijah brought this out a while ago. Where did Yahushua start his ministry? He started in the northern kingdom. So that's another thing to take into consideration on top of the other things that you were speaking on.
That does help. Yeah, that does help with insight. Appreciate it.
That's a great way to kick it, keep it in context. Because I was going to, well, now I'll let me back off Mariah because keep it in context. And then that's one thing, I don't want to turn this into bashing Christians, but that's one thing they do. They'll jump to a verse and within the same chapter or same book, but you forget Matthew 1:21 says what? He shall save his people. So, like, if his people ain't saved yet, why would it make sense he's sending out 12 to go to the world? Because then we go Matthew 15, the woman begging for a miracle. He says, what? I'm only sent to the lost sheep. That's what Christians do. They never answer your question, and then they're going to jump over here and jump over there. It's like, slow down, Nancy Kerrigan. Let's take this precept by precept.
I wanted to add a couple of things to this is that it really, when you keep it in context, and this is just a general thing, not directed towards you, Gerald, but in general, when it tells you what the context is by just reading the sentence, because he would be schizophrenic to say don't go the way of the Gentiles and then go to the Gentiles, right? If that make any sense. So that's the first point, because in the beginning he says, don't go to the Gentiles, don't go to any in the city of the Samaritans, but go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But go rather is making a distinction between the two groups that he's saying here. But then also too, if you look at the history, and this is just something like I'm just learning myself, but some of the Jews were still scattered too. Southern kingdom was scattered too.
Right.
But we weren't all there, and we weren't all in the knowledge, because when I thought about what I was seeing, I was like, well, yeah, that is true, because Daniel and them got taken, and they took people straight from the line of David way before this.
Right.
So Southern and Northern were scattered.
That's why we always got to keep Israelite history to the forefront. Remember, some people never came back from Persia.
Mm-hmm.
Some people never came back from Nineveh.
And this is how we're everywhere.
Right. That's a great point. I want to point out why we're here, because this what came to my spirit earlier this week, and this is to follow up with Gerald's question about witnessing. Let's drop down to verse 11 here, because this is why I kept my mouth closed. My uncle knows who we are, and he's my friend on Facebook, and it's crazy how I like Facebook for the righteousness, but my uncle has a cousin that's an Israelite, and that's how I was like, oh, you know some Israelites? So my uncle be asking me questions on the low, and I was talking to my uncle, but I was quiet one-on-one because I didn't want to incite my brother to come into no conversation. But this is the perfect precept also. Of course, seek Yah, seek the Rawah, but Matthew 10 and 11,
And into whatsoever city or village you shall enter, search out who in it is worthy.
Who is what?
Who is worthy.
Who is what?
Who is worthy.
Not everybody is worthy of this truth.
14 is where it's at, though.
Okay. See, you don't want me to come off the porch. Like, my wife down there giving you the business. You don't want me to come off this porch. But this is what I was content not trying to witness to my brother this past 5. I spent 5 days with him, and my heart wanted to tell him, like, bro. And then we took a picture at my dad's oldest sister, or my dad's only sibling and oldest. She's about to be 80 next week. We went to her house and met her kids for the first time. So we're taking pics, and then I see the pic, you throwing up Greek signs. If I knew you was gonna do that, I wouldn't even took no pic with you. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So, but this verse kept my mouth closed. Maybe he's not worthy to know this truth. That's why, had you not come see Yashaya, you might not have read. We don't got no shingle out. I was wrecking my mind. Y'all, how do we get traffic? Do I buy some signs and put them out here? And y'all's like, no, just teach. Just teach. Everybody ain't worthy, because what do you want to do? Now you want to go start your little YouTube channel assembly. You got a little bit of knowledge. Now you shutting everybody down. That's what's happening. Jokers ask you questions. I had brothers hit my phone, hit my jack all the time. What about this? What about this? Come and find out you backdoor teaching somebody. What kind? You don't even know what's going on. You getting stuff, meal peas, and now you want to teach somebody behind closed doors? So ask them if they were. Someone asks you a question, you ain't got, while they talking to you, Father give you right there, yeah, tell them this, tell them that. They may not be worthy of this. What you want to do with this truth? You want to be a know-it-all? You want to go debate the comedics? I'm going to.
It ain't about that.
Ain't about that. Ain't about that. So ask in the city who's worthy. Read on.
And there abide till ye go forth. And as ye enter into the house, salute it. And if the house be worthy, let your shalom come upon it. But if it not be worthy, let your shalom return unto you.
So that house could be a temple. We are temples. Even strangers, they are temples. May not be temples for Yah. So if that temple ain't worthy, that house ain't worthy, say, you know what? It's not a good day for me today. They not. The Most High just told you, he just being nosy. They don't want to know why you don't eat pork. They don't want to know why your son got on fringes. They're just being nosy. We're not here for gossip. I'm not here for you to write no book. That's the first thing I've asked. I didn't know Gina was your wife. You writing a book? Like, what you want to know for? What, did you want to marry her or something? Like, why would you know? Well, this is a job. This ain't here for us to be friends. I'm here to get a paycheck. So ask, while they talking to you, ask the Father, Father, should I tell them the truth? Because once you tell them the truth, they are dead if they don't listen.
Right. Yeah.
This is what Gene want to get to. Keep going.
And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, as ye go forth out of that house or that city, shake off the dust of your feet.
But remember, this is the second, you already vetted them if they're worthy. Because where he says, ask who's worthy. So now you don't see, okay, that don't mean they're good. It means compared to everybody else,
They're worthy to tell them.
right, you're worthy for a conversation.
Right.
But now I'm telling you, yeah, that Christmas, yeah, you got to 86 that. Oh yeah, all that ham hocks and pork skins you got. Yeah, yeah. Easter. Oh yeah, them two boyfriends you got, one paying your car note, one buying your wigs, they gotta go. Those two baby mamas you still playing around with? Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Shake the dust off. Shake the dust off your feet. This is the king. I know this is not in red because this is online. This is the king talking, family. People don't debate them. Well, let's schedule a Zoom conference. Let's go on my channel and debate. For what, nigga? He just said shake the dust off. I ain't about to try to convince you of this. Yeah. If you don't see it, you don't see it. Shalom. That's where I'm at with it.
That's how I see. That's how my mentality is. All it is, and then people be thinking like you're cold or you're. It's just like casting pearls to the swine, man. It's pointless. Any more in here?
Nah, let's drop down the same chapter. Let's drop down and pick up. Let's pick up verse 19 through 20, 22 actually. We're going to keep going.
But when they deliver you up, be not anxious how or what you shall speak, for it shall be given you in that hour what you shall speak.
When you having conversations, Gerald, you got to think of what you're going to tell him. The Most High tell you what to tell to him. Don't try to. I have conversations in my head. My brother gonna say this, and I'm gonna take him here. I'm done with all that.
Yeah, you used to be bad.
I just tell Gina like
But
so.
you know what though? But you know what though, Shalakia? I mean, just by, and I'm glad we were talking about this today, and I'm glad I was open enough to express, all of that stuff, because the answer is already clear up to this point. Because if I'm being 100% honest, I mean, yeah, we met some cool, a lot of nice families, a lot of nice, cool people in Arizona. But I mean, only one Hebrew couple. And the funny thing about it is, because of dynamics and circumstances, we ain't connected with them yet, but the people that we done stuff with has been people that's not on the Hebrew walk. And all of them got Christmas. They all got their stuff that they, we in there, we not eating pork, and we making sure we speak when the question asked, when it come up, why we don't do such and such. And they respected it. But for the most part, if I look at it, I got to say to myself, like, even as a witness, Gerald, like, even witnesses told them the importance of not associating with people that's not, of the same faith or whatever the case may be, because some of these circumstances would have been, I put myself in them if you really think about them. I mean, I put myself in them. I allowed myself to be in them. And now I'm in it. It's like I'm looking for opportunity to preach. Yeah, I'm looking for opportunity to share the truth. But at the same time, I mean, you welcome me to your house. I come to your house. What I look like telling you that everything I'm seeing in your house is wrong. So it's like, so I mean, when you think about it, I mean, it's just making me sit back and reflect. And you said it earlier. I mean, it really comes down to the decisions that you make and the people that you consider so-called air quotes friendship that you allow to associate yourself with. Because I mean, yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So I just realized I need to recheck myself in that aspect. I should have been got up with the Hebrew folks, and again, like I said, my dynamics are what they are. That's why I haven't. But yeah. So appreciate this.
I want to put a comment in there, and this first part, I said this to you before, but I really enjoy, like, and Reggie know this, we so analytical, but when I see it like you, when you get a stance, which not in this case, but in general, you Hebrews will be so strong in our stance. But you know, a true brother and someone that's got the right heart knows how to be humble, maybe sometimes accept correction and all of those things. So I just appreciate your self-awareness in situations and being able to look back on things and realize, you know, things that you personally could have said or done better, or when you realize that, hey, yeah, this is, you know, really the truth, and this time I was wrong, other times I might have been right. So I appreciate that about you. Then another thing about the whole situations and dealing with relationships of friendships and stuff like that, that's why we are to be set apart, and even being unequally yoked, it counts for those relationships as well. And even a personal example from me is too, and it's funny, I don't know, maybe just the energy that I give off and the way that I carry myself, but like I have some good friends, or they used to be, and one of them, I would say Jonathan, good brother, Israelite, everything like that, but you know, he's lost and things of that nature. So he got a new house, like the last years, that right before we left for COVID and everything fell apart and all these years went by, he got a new house and all this, and he was fixing it up, doing everything. And even this year, he asked me, he was like, hey, bro, I'm having a party at my house for Halloween. We want to invite you out, boom, 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 boom. My answer, y'all already know.
No thanks.
It's easy. And I like this person a lot.
Right.
He kind of very similar to me. We just don't really talk a lot because I'm separating myself.
Right.
Then Christmas comes around. Then they message you, you don't celebrate Christmas, do you? And I'm like, nah, I don't. It's pagan. But if you ever want to talk about it, that's what I leave with. If you ever want to talk about it, I can share with you and explain why. And yeah, I was like, maybe we could just catch a movie one day or something, because he kept trying to hang out. Right. And I'm like, well, I can't come to no, for one, I can't really go to no revelries that's unrighteous. That's a sin against the Most High.
Pork weenies and all that mess.
And then on top of it, you talking about celebrating Halloween and Christmas. And this person, they just a regular person. They don't know. Right. But me, I know. So I gotta be the one to be like, I can't be in that house. I can't go there. I can't celebrate with you. And that's just the part where we all of us got to separate and deal with. It's hard. You alone, I don't really talk to nobody. Right. But that's just what I feel like the Most High has shown that is required of me right now.
But see, I want to say this, because my wife and I, we're still young, and we don't always have to get together for Torah. We can get together, shoot guns, go fishing, go shopping, play pool, billiards. We can do things, family. It's just that we don't take off the Torah because we had a basketball game. I ain't gonna be out there cussing and let me hit that cigarette. No, I take the Torah with everything we do. We're Israelite. We take this Torah.
I know.
But we can have movie night. We can have, y'all bowl. I bowled 300s.
That's why too. I'll go.
I'm like 160.
Wash clothes and just having a good time and catch up with Miss Gina and stuff.
It's just this Babylon got us working, so we can't follow it. And now COVID, and so we can't. But my point being, when we get together, when it's all said and done, we're going to have regular lives. The sisters get together and chop the breeze and shop, and with us brothers fish, you hunt, play backgammon or die. Our life, it's just we take the Torah with us. We just don't put this down.
Because if we put it down, that means that light wasn't true light, right?
Tom.
One thing I've learned about hanging out with pagans, if you're gonna hang out with pagans, you gotta do it on your terms. It's no more like you said, going over to the house, doing anything. And me and my wife, that's what we've learned. It's just like, we're just not gonna do it anymore. just leave. No need to, family or not, it doesn't matter.
Me and my wife going to meet my cousins for the first time. First we was going to ride with my brother and his wife because we was tired of driving. But then I started thinking, I said, my brother works third shift. So it was already getting dark. We leaving the hospital from seeing my mom, and we had agreed to be at dinner at their house at 7. And me and Gina went back to the hotel for a minute to get a quick little cat nap, but just relax. I said, you know what, babe? I said, this is my brother's shift. He gonna get over there, want to talk, and be up. I said, I think we better drive. Now, I'm gonna tell my family, look, we in the bed at 9 o'clock. You know, so that's what we did. We drove, and you know, I said, they pulled out the cards. My brother had a deck, my cousin had a deck. Like, I don't play cards. I know how to play spades. It just put my mind in a different place. All those nights, like I don't like playing.
You know what I was telling him about that here when you said that thing about spades.
Yeah.
And I said, man, it's spirits in them spades. Like I can't.
Some people could do it. To me, I just remember all the smoky apartments, and then you know, like then the language come out. So I don't play spades. But you can't find it in the Torah where thou shalt not play cards.
Yeah, no, that ain't
So
the
you
reason.
gotta live
Yeah,
with
that
it.
ain't the reason. Yeah.
Me personally, I don't really like to get into it. Now, I will, you know, I will play spades. That night, me and Green, I told Queen, babe, we got a game plan. We're gonna be out here by 9 o'clock. What time we left, babe?
I think like 8:30, 8:45.
We say, let's get these pictures, y'all. Because me and my wife, we don't hang out no more. And I don't play no cards and whatnot. And I'm an Israelite. I had my fringes on. My family didn't ask me about it, but I had my fringes on. If they would have asked me, I was like, yeah, we Hebrews, we Israelites.
Well, they didn't ask for a reason. But just to let me back on what Gerald was saying, and you know, I'm a social person, and my husband's not. We work in the same.
I am a social person.
You're not.
Don't say
You're
that.
not.
Don't say
You
that.
are to certain people, but like I wanted to say is we used to work in the same building, and people all over the building knew me. You know, because that's just who I am. I've always been that way. Yeah. But I had to learn as well to take a step back, because you find yourself being friendly and sociable, and I'm not talking at you, Gerald. I'm just kind of letting you know I understand what you're talking about, because you find yourself in situations where people say, oh, you know, she's cool, she's good people. I mean, they would get mad if I came to work and didn't speak to them. Like, I seen you today, you was over there talking to such and such, you ain't come to say hi to me. So it's like,
You're everybody's friend.
exactly. But that's just, yeah. And so you do have to learn to set yourself apart, and they know that you have boundaries. Like, okay, I know Regina's good people, but she don't, you know, she ain't eating that pork, or she not going to come to this. So that's what I had to, because I don't want to stop being social, because that's just, I don't know, maybe I can eventually, but it's just who I am. But you do have to learn to set some boundaries and let people know, don't come to me with that. Don't come to me like, oh, I didn't, you know, Regina, I didn't mean to cuss or whatever. You have to set boundaries and put walls up, because we have to separate eventually, totally, but you know, we're in Babylon right now.
So let's pick back up Matthew 10 and verse 22.
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved.
Saved now.
He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved.
Christian doctrine crush. Read on.
But when they persecute you in this city, flee into the next.
Mm-hmm.
For verily I say unto you, you shall not have gone through the cities of Yasharallah till the Son of Man come.
To when?
Till the Son of Man come.
To when?
Till the Son of Man come.
What is Messiah saying? You're going to be so scattered. The cities of Israel, this is not talking about the 12 tribes. It's saying the cities where Israelites are. Y'all think this temple, you showing me this temple? Y'all about to get so scattered, you ain't going to have time to go through all where y'all living before I come back. Did he say about the Lutherans? Did he say about the Methodists? The cities where the Israelites are. Why your pastor ain't telling you this? Why your pastor telling you it don't matter about a bloodline? These feel-good messages, putting everybody in heaven. Got people going to hell. Messiah's telling them, y'all, the Most High, my Father's about to do the business to y'all because y'all didn't want to keep the law. Laser focus on Israel, family. Laser focus on Israel. We're counting on Yah. We're counting on His Son. Can we count on you? You gotta ask yourself that. Playtime is over. We can't worry about the house where the next door neighbor just got a new car. Hey, Mazel Tov. It's time to be wise with your spending.
That's real.
That's real.
Let's drop down. I want to point something out here. Let's drop down to verse 26. This chapter is chock full of just gems, family, that we just gloss over.
That's real.
Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in the darkness, speak ye in the light, and what you hear in the ear, proclaim upon the housetops.
What you hear in the ear, proclaim on the housetops. Highlight this verse, underline this verse. Messiah is prophesying. He's prophesying here. What you hear in the ear, preach or proclaim on the housetops. Take us to John 14:21 out. Let's show you how he was prophesying here, family. What you hear in the ear, proclaim on the housetops. Let's show you who's going to be talking in your ear if you're keeping this law. John 14, verse 21. Shema, when you have it.
Shema.
Read, he that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me.
Right.
And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father.
Conditions.
And I will love him.
Okay.
And will manifest myself to him.
I will manifest myself to him. What does that mean?
Show himself.
I'm going to show myself. I'm going to whisper in your ear. All those righteous elders who got that word, that was Messiah talking to them. Tell the people, don't worry. So if you're keeping commandments, Messiah is going to talk to you. And what he's telling you in your Ruach, tell the righteous people.
Yeah, Shalakia, or rather, my sheep know my voice. They know my voice when they hear it. They know my voice when they hear it.
Come on, man, bring it out. This is why we take this law serious. Because if you don't, all my family, all these scriptures y'all posting, and thank you, Jesus. I told Queen, I said, babe, if mom got better by prayers, it was you and I in the assembly. Y'all ain't hear her. That's why she posted that script the other day. I said, babe, go to Proverbs 28:9. What, babe? What you say, babe? She turned to that. She said, oh, this is a good one.
Dang, that sounds like her.
I said, babe, the Most High ain't hear their prayers.
Well, I had said it before. I had told my sister that a long time ago, and my auntie was like, don't listen to her. Yes, he do. He hear your prayers. And I just had to let it go because I knew it was a scripture, but I just didn't know where it was. So when he pointed that out, it's like you tell people that they think you're being mean, but he ain't hearing.
This is the scripture.
He ain't hearing.
This is the word. That's it. So
We just giving you scripture. We copy and pasting scriptures around here.
and then leave the little the link for it for you to go through for yourself.
I ain't make this up in my Bible.
Yo.
It's in your Bible.
He hates the sin, but not the sinner. And I'm like, well,
Yes, Lord.
it says right here in Psalms that he hates the sinner. Like, come on now. Like, they're not, well, that's what you believe. That's what
You got what you believe.
That's what
And I
you
got what I believe.
And I got what I'm like.
We copy and pasting scriptures for you.
We both love God. You don't love God.
I said, wow.
Go ahead, Ayasha. You had something.
Yeah, and just like a precept to that Proverbs 28:9, John 9:31. Me and Nariah and Abishai, we read through this one Sunday.
Like a week or so ago.
Yeah, John 9:31. We got all right. Now we know that Elohim heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshiper of Yah, and does his will, him he will hear it.
And what is his will?
His law.
His law.
Man.
See,
There's no way around it.
that's where they would squirm out of it, because they wouldn't even the will. They
But that's when we go to Psalms 119.
Yeah.
Psalms 119, you can't get away from his will, it's the law. You can't, or Ecclesiastes 12:13, the whole duty of man.
Is to keep the fear, Yah, keep the man.
So that translation is saying the same thing. The duty of man is the will of Yah. They can't. That's how we know it's a spirit on them. That's why you gotta have sympathy and mercy. As our Yah has mercy on us, our family members have a spirit on them. We give you script after script, not us breaking down. We're copy and pasting, showing you they can't do the same.
And it came back to me all the way from when he was telling the story about praying in the hospital. So here it is now.
So this is proof how we know that the Most High, the Messiah, is speaking to us, that we are able to hear and see and understand. Because when you look at the other side, you see like you looking at zombies with our families and friends. They ain't hearing nothing. So he that have an ear to hear, let him hear. And we're hearing and we're understanding and making steps towards getting it right to the best of our knowledge. And then on the total opposite side, they eating ham sandwiches with no remorse, no thought. So it just shows you that it might not look like what we thought it would look like, but it's no other way for us to be in this position.
It's not all that shaking and quaking and all that.
Right. But his power has moved upon us.
Yeah.
So it ain't some magical like thing. It's like you see it like because of how a person's countenance is.
Right.
And when you tell them the word and how they rest on it, and then they meditate and pray, and then they grow in it.
Apply it.
Yeah, like that's the Most High.
That's the power.
That's the Son.
See, now you're going to another class I'm building. But I said right, that's the perfect point. Christianity, and I'll say it again, has trained us to get a feeling. How many feel the Spirit of God in here? What did he tell the people when he was coming down on Mount Sinai? What did he tell Moses? Tell the people don't even touch the mountain.
Or you will die.
If you feel the Most High, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's how he's power. So all this, I gotta feel it or I felt the Spirit in church today. You felt the Spirit, all right? It wasn't the Most High. He's power.
It was an evil rock that came.
That's what you felt. So I ain't gotta have a feeling that he's here. He's here because I know y'all are keeping the law. Y'all get together, our spirits bear witness. So he's in this building. That's it. I don't gotta get no feeling. How many of y'all do you gotta have a feeling to get up and go to work? No, you know them bills gotta be paid. How many times you go to work and don't feel like it?
That's what I have to
Fight my whole week.
Like it was.
Exactly what I was talking about. I don't want to work.
Exactly. And I'm slipping in the snow, cleaning. I'm like, Lord, then I get there, they not even there. I'm like, oh my goodness.
This thing, we don't do this because, and that's what I was going into being a soldier. Being a soldier, you don't work by your emotions. We work by what's commanded. The Most High said, you keep this law, I got you. Fear not. The battle's not yours. So I ain't got to feel like forgiving her today. I ain't got to feel like praying today.
Dang, that's good, because Nariah can attest to this, because we just had a situation at our house, and we was talking about it, dealing with some people we know, and we was saying that, you know, let's say, for example, one person may get in their feelings, and now they don't want to talk to you. They want to ignore you, or they act out of their feelings and do something they normally wouldn't do. And then I was explaining, and then Nariah me and him was explaining that where love comes in at. So like, if I don't feel, we just gonna use each other, me and him. Let's just say for whatever crazy reason we got beef with each other, or he did something I ain't like, vice versa, which never really happens. But if it did, and then he got in a jam and he needed help, I don't feel like it because he said something.
there will be times where you don't feel like doing something, or somebody says something that you don't like or whatever, right? All of us. But then that's where the love and the Torah and the knowledge and understanding of how to apply and how to treat your blood, that's what the commandments are for.
Yes.
So now, even though I feel this way, is what we was explaining to our other brother. We was explaining, even though you think I feel like helping you right now,
Right.
but I do it because I love you.
Right.
This is where the love is. So I still gotta, and so that's just perfect, exactly what you was just talking
That's
about.
again going back to motherhood. That's why the mothers are so esteemed, because the mothers do things. Now they ain't gonna tell you, I don't feel like getting up making you no bottle. That baby don't care about no. That baby don't care that you just went to sleep 30 minutes ago. That baby, I just fed you. Yeah, I know. I want that baby don't.
Great.
So a mother gotta get up whether she feel like it or not.
Great.
That's what it is. This Torah keeps our feelings out of it.
Great.
But us being in these earth suits, that's what makes it hard to apply the Torah. You hear the Most High say, "Go say sorry."
Right. Right.
So you make the other thing. You hungry?
And Shalakia, so and we're talking about feelings and pertaining to like Torah, but when you think about it, like I said, that it's the same context. It goes across board, because between a man and a woman, and just speaking like, a lot of times when a man speaks from the perspective of, I understand your feelings, but your feelings is not valid in the sense of, I guess valid is the wrong word, but your feelings doesn't dictate what needs to happen in this circumstance. Like I still have to deal with the circumstance, regardless of how you feel. There still has to be a resolution, and as a man, we're kind of focused on that naturally. Like, okay, I get your feelings, but that don't prevent me from handling the situation. And
Yeah,
I think,
Go ahead.
and I think there's similarities in what we're talking about, and I think sometimes that gets missing in communication, because it can come off like we're saying that we don't care about your feelings, and your feelings are valid in the sense of, I understand how you feel right now, but the feelings ain't supposed to dictate the reaction, if you understand. Go ahead.
That's what the Torah is for, but us in this carnal state, it makes it harder. But when it comes to a man and a woman, us being the head, a lot of it, and I'm guilty of it. My wife is here, we're transparent, but the man has to take the weight. So by us men being the leaders, and we got to take more of the weight of the marriage, we got to address her feelings, because she's not going to be able to communicate until you acknowledge her feelings. So what dropped in my spirit a couple of years ago is feelings are never wrong. The supposition that caused the feelings is what's wrong.
Jesus, great.
You took it as that because I communicated either poorly or not. And that's why I hate text messages. All the computer talk, the emojis, I don't do the emojis. I told Gina, people gonna forget how to spell. So, but I do short text, and Gina like, she couldn't understand, or so feelings are never wrong, but it's the supposition that led to the feelings. But for a woman, she needs that address, because to her, she's gonna create everything, he don't love me, or you don't love me like you say you do. And we be like, listen, my love is valid. Like, come on, this ain't got nothing to do with that. But for her, everything equates to that. That's how they wire. They're wired as nurturers. So us men, I know it's hard. I'm not betting 100. Don't think I'm not here talking. I got this thing down. My wife is here. But we have to acknowledge the feelings, and then we can get to, okay, now that that's out the way, we still got this issue at hand. When I say this, I don't need you to smack me in the face, boom, 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 then you can handle the issue. But a woman's feelings has to be dealt with, because that's how they're wired. That's how they're wired.
Now that's good. I'm glad you said that, because I never looked at it that way, and that's a statement that I'm I'ma like really entrench in my mind. You know, the feelings are always right.
No,
You
we
know,
can't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
because I mean,
It's a two-way street. I was saying because sometimes our feelings, we get our feelings because they did something, or you know, she heard me say I wanted some grits and eggs tonight. Now she can go out there and get a pizza. I'm confused. Like, dude, I'm confused. But I have my mouth set up for grits and eggs, but not the pizza here. So it's two ways.
Every day.
It's two ways. Like it's not just on a woman. Our feelings too. So we're thinking, oh, she just don't want to listen to what I say. No, it's not that. Maybe she forgot, or maybe she thought you would change your mind, or she know pizza is your favorite, but your mouth was locked on that grits and eggs. So it's a two-way street about these feelings.
How we looking out for your health,
Right.
something like that.
for sure, yeah, it's definitely deeper. For sure, it's deeper than that. But I mean, what I was speaking to, you hit it right on the head, because I saw the similarities in what you were saying about Torah and feelings and stuff like that. For the Most High, feelings, it don't matter about the feelings. We talk about that quite often. It's like he's exact when it comes to his law, statutes, and commands, and regardless of how you feel. But what I was speaking to, you hit it on the head, because I feel like automatically when we say it, and this, what's the word you use? You said you said it's not the feeling. The feeling. You
It's
said it's the what?
supposition, but they're supposing that you said or did. So
Yeah, like that a lot of times is the thing that make it go left, because it's like I'm not saying that I don't understand and see why you feel the way you feel, but it's you got to understand that how we got to that point, what made you feel that way, was not the intention. and you hit it right. You hit it right on the head with that. So I'm actually going. You gotta. I want to hear exactly what you just said again. Though you said it's not. You said feelings are always correct.
yeah, so someone's feelings is never wrong, whether it be a man or a woman. I feel like you don't like me. I feel like you was getting smart. So the feeling is never wrong, because emotions are emotions. It's just a supposition. What you suppose
Supposition.
that person meant is wrong. So me and my wife sit all the time like, what? She be like, please, you talk to me so. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like I just sometimes I talk plainly, or I have I'm reading something, or I'm working on, or I'm trying to iron out a thought. So I answer her shortly, but she takes it as I'm being snippy. So now she gets snippy. Now I look up. And it's like the supposition was wrong. I wasn't being, I'm distracted by what I'm researching. I didn't mean to be short or snippy. So her feelings wasn't wrong. She felt like I got smart. Her feelings wasn't wrong. It's just a supposition.
And then just being able to try to think of that on or sometimes like it's an introspective thing. And I was telling Miss Gina, I was like, that's where the Shamaria thing, I started noticing this a long time ago, and Naraya is my witness, and y'all know now. But it's like that's what I be hearing when I hear people in conversations. I'm like, they done got mad at each other because they talking about they done got two separate things away from what they originally was saying. And that's the key, the part where it's the supposition. What you thought I was saying, I wasn't saying that. And that's why you'll hear me say, well, what he meant was, or what she was trying to say was this. And that happens in relationships, all types of relationships.
Men, women, friends, like
right.
Mom and daughter.
Like, because even I just use just an example with one of my our other roommate. He needed to use the car for something, and then he can be very like try to be enclosed, and I know like I gotta go above and beyond to make sure the communication is right. So I was like, so explain to me, like, so don't you got to do X, Y, and Z? And then he was like, yeah, I got to do this, and he just stopped. Now me, I'm like, forget it. I can leave, right? And I need, so that was the key. I was like, so what is really going on? But then he ain't say nothing else about it. I ain't say nothing else about it, but I was like, Torah, you know how, like, so I was like, okay, so now explain, boom, boom, boom. And then he was like, oh, well, I thought you heard what I said, no, you didn't say that. And then once we talked it out, it was no problem. Right. But the lack, and this just any type of relationship, communication and what you thought somebody said just causes so many issues.
That's why the Torah has to be applied.
The Torah has to
because
be applied.
If it's not applied, even amongst brothers and sisters in the community, like that's why the Torah needs to be the base. And we talk about this all the time.
And you're not going to be batting. You're not going to be batting 100. You're not going to be batting 1,000. It's because you have your good days and your bad days. You want your bad days to be very minimal, where it's not something drastic. And because what AI say, y'all remember AI? Y'all probably was
The AI, the answer.
yeah. We talking about
Practice.
we talking about practice. But the Torah is every day it's practice. Like AI says, I show up for the game.
I show for the game. I don't need no practice.
I'm out here dropping. I'm averaging 30.
Yeah,
And you
talking about practice. But in the Torah, every day, yeah, you got to practice thing every day.
Every day.
And honestly, y'all, this goes into why the Most High would tell the prophets, I'm going to put my words in your mouth and you speak my words to the people. Because us, what Shemaria and what everybody's saying, we'll make a statement with the assumption that you're supposed to automatically understand what I'm alluding to. And that's why this Christianity is got us so messed up, because we got stuff so watered down. We tiptoe around stuff.
Generalize.
We generalize stuff. But when we come back to the Father, we know how to be bold in Yahushua, standing on the word and speaking it exactly the way the Father spoke it to us. No, you're not supposed to do this. No, it don't matter how you feel about it. No, it don't matter how they feel about it. This is the word. Now, however you internalize that thing, that's going to manifest whether you are of Yah or if you are of the devil.
I agree 1,000% with that, and that's where the church. This was I wanted one last point, but this just was so good what you said. The church got so caught up in worrying about everybody's feelings that's one of the ways that it got so convoluted and lost now, because they don't want to offend the homosexuals, so we can't say this. We don't want to offend the liberals, so we can't. You see what I'm saying? Political correctness is, and it was a Christian book I had that I only read like the first page, and I ended up throwing it away when I came to truth. But it was saying like political correctness is basically killing Christianity type thing, or religion. But I wanted to say my point was the Most High has feelings also. But he doesn't act in his feelings. The Most High, because if he acted through his feelings, we would all be dead. The Most High has feelings because he told us how many times we done hurt him, we broke his heart, we done all these things, we messed him up.
Deacon Shemaria, he did every day.
But for real, the Most High has his feelings, but the way the Most High acts is through the judgment of the order that he set originally. So because we're in captivity, it's not because the Most High was upset with us and he got mad at us for the day. It's because he know that according to the order that I set up from the beginning, I have to do this to you.
You gotta go through this.
I have to punish you and send you to captivity, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because if he just act like he really felt, he gave us an example with Moses. He was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and kill them all.
Open the earth.
He was like, I'm not saying it in a joking way.
Yeah.
But the Most High was like, you know what? I was tripping. Yeah. You know, of course, the Most High know the beginning from the end. But
that verse, that's why I take issue with these translations. But for the most part, I say this if we get back on task. That verse, hell has no fury like a woman scorned. When I started reading the Bible from cover to cover, I'm like, hell has no fury like the Most High scorned. Like, do you see what he allowed his people to go through? So I'm not saying that verse is butchered for sure, but I'm like, the Most High, the one you don't want scorned. You know what I mean? Like, so let's finish this up. We got a few more to go through, and then we can fellowship. Matthew 10:29.
Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and not one of them shall fall on the ground without your Father? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore, ye are more valuable ye are of more value than many sparrows.
32.
Every one, therefore, who shall confess me before men, him will I also confess before my Father which is in heaven.
So that's why we don't fear what's about to happen. We're going to stand on Yahweh Shai's name, and he's going to hear it, and he's going to tell his Father, he's one of yours. He just confessed me. So whether we're homeless, living in tents, whatever, we're going to stand on Messiah, because the very hairs of your head is numbered. The Messiah, we can count on him. It's our part. Don't be locking on what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and what you're feeling. Lock on what we're reading. The Most High says, I got you. Don't worry about, yeah, he just smacked you. Don't worry, I'm recording all that. Be a man. That's what the angels never told no one be a woman. Y'all ready verses? Be a woman? Be a man. They lock you in jail? Be a man. Give instructions. Make sure your house is in order. Let your wife know how to move. Be a man. Endure the Most High has us. Let's move on and let's go to John 14. Let's go back to John 14. Who can count on you, family? You really got to take this time to self-reflect these next couple of days and ask yourself, can the nation count on you? John 14, start at verse 10. Shema.
Shema.
Read.
Believest thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me, or else believe me for the very work's sake. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also. And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father.
Now, I'm not that old, but I did grow up in church, and I did see a couple pastors trying to heal people. And I really don't think anyone got healed. I don't want to go on a tangent. But the Messiah is saying, the works he do, we're going to do greater works. So the Messiah was resurrecting dead people, spiritually and physically. Ain't no pastor eating pork chops and making fun of the law going to do greater works than Yahweh Shai.
No.
It's going to be you, and those on the line. And that's when your family's face is going to hit the...
Yeah. 100%. Sounds just like
I went on seminary. Who laid hands on you, Eddie? Ain't nobody laid hands on me. I'm rehearsing my covenant. And that's when you may be able to pull the family in.
that's what the apostles did.
That's
what they did.
That's when you're going to be able to get fruit. Right now, we're jokes. We're laughing stock. I had one friend said, we went live one time and the congregation was on it. Friend said, how many people was inside your church? I was like, for A, we don't have a church. And then B, I gave him scriptures. Broad is the way to destruction. So we're laughing joke. Oh, you only had 2 people in your live. You only had 10 people at your, it don't matter. It don't matter. Most high. Go ahead.
Sorry, Salakia. You're 100% correct with that. And I must say, when in the beginning, when we started fellowshipping with y'all would say that, because I know, again, because of my religious background, I come from witnesses and nobody was doing no try to heal and stuff like that. And then we didn't believe that none of these pastors was able to do that stuff. It was all BS. But it also put me in the mindset that nobody is able to do that in this day that we live in, or nobody will be able to do that. But when you say that now and put it in perspective, when Yahweh Shai came on the scene and he gave them the Ruach, and they was able to do that. They was able to heal and stuff after he came and died. And they was able to make all of these believers because of the works and the things that they were seeing. Thousands of people was dedicating and becoming believers. All of that proceeded their end at that time, at that dispensation, which was the fall of Jerusalem in 70 CE, before they went into captivity. So when you know that nothing's new under the sun, and this stuff repeats, like we referred to earlier, you're 100% correct. I can see that, because right now we the livestock. And when Christ was on the earth, he would say, Father, so they would know that you sent me, and they would know that I'm in union with you. Lazarus, come out. You know, he was doing that stuff while he was being ridiculed and laughed at and joked and all of this stuff about. He was doing this stuff, and those that had exercised faith that witnessed it was able to become believers because of that. So you're right. It ain't gonna be them people that ain't following law, statutes, and commands and eating pork and all of that stuff like that. They're gonna continue to. They're gonna be the ones that, when it come down to it, like Elijah, let the Baal prophets had a moment, and then he took up and did his moment, and then they saw that these Baal prophets was lying. The way that they got dealt with, it could very well much come to that point where us that's following law, statutes, and commandments will be able to distinguish and show, because of the Most High right there at the moment, who these fakesters are.
I was going to mention that to you, Gerald. I was going to mention that even when Yahushua came, he wasn't doing nothing new. Healing the sick and raising the dead, that's the power from the Spirit, which the Spirit is the Most High. He placed that upon our people from the jump.
That's what we were.
From the jump. That's just what, it's not because we special, it's just he chose a certain group of people to be able to manifest that power in the earth. But they was doing this before Christ even came. Right. And you just mentioned it. When you got to it before I could even jump in there, when you was talking about Elisha and Elijah.
Yeah. Raising
people from the dead. Like, it's just
before Christ was born.
Before he was born.
So how's everything focused on Jesus? Right. But they was doing this before Jesus was born.
So
it's us.
When you put it in the context, when you think about it in the context, it's like, of course this is going to happen again, because it's always been happening.
Because he wants more sheep. So it's going to be us bringing in the, I guarantee, if y'all go ahead and finish the work with my mom, I guarantee all the Christians are going to take credit. He heard our prayers. And me and Gina like to sit back like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and again, when the Messiah left, his people, even Shawal, Kapah, Peter, all of them, when they would go into other cities and towns, the same things we're saying now, that's what they were saying. Well, how can we get these people to believe? Well, we got to do this, 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 and this. And when they start healing people, the people start believing. Like, it's just a cycle. That's just,
they see that they're confessing this Christ, and look, the lion couldn't even kill him.
Mm-hmm.
He's confessing this Christ. Y'all throw him in the water spits him back to the land.
So somebody, the power of the Creator must be with you. That's what they see after they see that.
This Messiah gotta be real. This man, all this man gotta do is recant about this Messiah character, sacrifice to the gods of Rome, and he goes back to all his land, his women and children. And he's saying, I'm not going to deny Messiah. This Messiah gotta be real. Who's gonna hear the lion? Then you see the lion. Now I'm fifth in line. You see the four in front of you get mangled. Will you recant?
No one's going to die.
Absolutely not.
No one's going to die for a lie.
No one's going to. You may put a front for a good little while. Yeah, I bought the money for that much. I bought the house for that much. Okay. How much you bought? Oh, I only paid. Once the pressure come out, so that's how the Christians really became. That's how Rome became Christians, because those righteous ones, those soldiers, like, this man gotta be telling the truth. Hey, listen, how can I be saved like you? And that's what I was telling Elizabeth. Trust in Messiah with all your heart and keep the law. So the first Romans who became Christians, they were law keepers. Let's move on, y'all. Let's go. Did you finish that up? Did you make it down to verse 18?
John 14.
You're in John 13 on the screen.
Yeah, I want to go here for to make a point.
So verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, 13. whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son.
That will the Most High do?
That the Father may be glorified in the Son.
But who will do it?
I do.
That,
Who will do it?
that will I do.
Who's the I?
Yahushua.
I never caught that till I was making these notes. He says, anything you ask in my name, I will do. So that goes back to what you hear in your ear, speak to the housetop. You see these Hebrewisms? You ask it to the Father in my name, the Father's going to let me do it for you.
And the purpose that he's going to let me do it for you is so you can believe on him.
Come,
It's tough. That's tough.
you see, everything goes back to the Father asking in my name. So why would I be asking you in your name? I'm asking the Father in Yahushua's name.
And that's the same thing he was doing here on the earth. That makes so much sense, because when he was here, it's like, all right, well, I'm going to get some bread, some wine. I'm going to raise your brother. Come on now. But I'm doing this to glorify my Father. And then here, whatsoever you ask in my name, I will do, that the Father may be glorified through the Son.
Come on now.
It just makes so much sense.
Come on now. Let's finish it up.
If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. If you love me, keep my commandments.
So you praying for my mother ain't going nowhere.
Because you're not keeping the command.
It's us praying for my mother that got her feeling better. I don't trust in those medications. It's all witchcraft. It's us begging the Father, hey, have mercy on this woman. And we're keeping the law. It's not them Christians. The Father hearing our cry, and the Son said, Daddy, let me go do this for him. That's the book, family.
And I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever.
I'm going to pray the Father, because there's a hierarchy. I'm not the Father. I got to pray to the Father. He's going to send a comforter. Read on.
He's going to send another comforter that he may abide with you forever, even the Spirit or the Ruach of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him, but you know him, for he dwell with you.
He dwells with you.
And shall be in you. I will not leave you comfortless.
Say what?
I will not leave you comfortless.
Who will not leave you comfortless?
Yahushua will not leave you comfortless.
Ain't no Holy Ghost. Ain't no Holy Ghost. It's Yahushua, the Holy Ruach of Yah, who's keeping us comfort. Those things you're feeling at your end of your robe. It's Messiah whispering in your ear. Be sure this is going to pass.
Because the Father is the set apart Spirit, and he placed his set apart Spirit upon his people, and in this case, his Son. And that's why he said the Most High is going to send you a comforter. And then they say, oh, see, that's the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
No.
Keep reading.
It's the Son.
It's the Son. That's why he said, I will comfort you.
I will not leave you. That's in black and white. Shmori, what you see when you first got here? Our people
They can't read and they don't read.
You know what? Got a
Shalaki. What chapter? So you got on the screen is John 13. So I'm searching through John 13. I don't see that.
John 14.
Yeah, that's on purpose.
It's John 14, and then that's verse 15 through really it's 12 through like 21.
Got you. So I was thinking of everything y'all saying is tying to what I was going to wait to the end of the class to kind of discuss quickly. And I mentioned it to Shamaria, and I see how they connect, and we might have to bounce off it a little bit later. But that title, Son of Man, I'm coming to realize, and again, I could be wrong, but it's coming to make sense to me, that the title Son of Man, the reason why it could be used in different senses pertaining to different prophets, if I'm going to define it, I'm going to say Son of Man is a title given to a righteous messenger sent from the Most High. Any righteous messenger sent from the Most High of our people, I will even go as far as saying of our people, of Israel, a righteous messenger of Israel. And the reason why I say that, because we know prophets of old, we know Yahushua himself referred to as the Son of Man. We know Revelation speaks of a Son of Man with the crown, Revelation chapter 14. We know Daniel 7 speaks of a prophetic Son of Man who receives the kingdom from the Ancient of Days and so forth. So, like, not to go too deep into it because I ain't put it all together yet, but I see, because Christ, like you said, he was no different. He didn't do nothing no different than what Elijah and the rest of them did. Now, granted, yes, his role was significant because he is the redemption for sake of us being redeemed back to the Father for the sake of breaking the law, statutes, and commandments and so forth. And our way back to the Father is through Hamashiach. However, when you look at the aspect of him being a prophet, a sent messenger, it was all the Most High Spirit. And it was all to the Most High's glory. It was all the Most High's Ruach, and it was all to the Most High's glory, just like it was through the prophets and everything that they did. But we'll have to talk about it later because I see how it connects, and I'll show you the reasons why I'm saying what I'm saying. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in because it reminds me of what I was going to say at the end that y'all started going into this.
Okay.
If I can just throw this in there to give you something else to keep the wheels turning, Gerald, the language. So, Son of Man, correct me if I'm wrong, Marab, but isn't it Banya Adam?
Yeah, the Tom.
Okay, so when you parse out that word man, Adam, we're thinking it from the carnal perspective most of the time. But when you go back to the language and you parse the word out, it's a leader to the pathway of the blood. So I don't know, I don't know how that might help or what that might do, because
that makes sense. That makes sense.
It also means a son of the flesh. It means a son of the flesh or a son from the earth, a man. That's it's professing that he has the power of Elohim, but he's a man like you.
Right.
That's what so that bringing out the point about the language, that was a good point because it just put me to think in that way. And that's totally different in Hebrew than just the way that we know it as Son of Man. So yeah, because
and that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Sorry to cut you off, Mario.
And just give me time. It was on my spirit when we was in Jacksonville. I says I need to make a cheat sheet for y'all. And then yesterday at the job, it came to me I can make bookmarks. And in the bookmarks, I'll have like the keys to unlocking the scrolls. And what we teach, the 5 W's. When you read a passage, identify those 5 W's to help give you understanding. And then we check, do you have the best translation? Did you check it in the original tongue? And then third, did you apply the plumb line? And using those tools will help you unlock any precept or any supposition you're researching. You can go ahead and troubleshoot yourself before you present it to someone else to look at it. Once you think you went through the checklist, now ask someone to double check to see if you wanted something. So if you give me a couple of weeks and I get that together, print them out, and I'll hand them out to the family. But yeah, I'll keep building, and definitely we can take a look at that and add on to it. So yeah, family, this is all about, we know we can count on Abba and Yahushua. So I took y'all here to let y'all see the ball's in our court. We got to ask ourselves, can I be counted on? Because he's done his part. He set us up where we're back in the right position with Father. Or you're going to fold when the pressure comes. When I don't know what y'all call them in Carolina, when diapers come about to take your only seed, are you going to cave to go ahead and jab him up? No, I'm not going to cave. You only taking him.
CPS.
Y'all come CPS?
To my child protector.
Yeah, well, we have diapers, CPS.
Yeah.
What's going to be your breaking point? There is no breaking point for righteousness. There is no breaking point. So let's go over to that John 13, because I saw this when I was double checking my notes. I'm like, my goodness. I can't see how like my wife says, I don't see how he's missing this. Like, I don't see how he's missing this. Let's go to John 13, and it just caught my eye, I think this morning or last night, yesterday at work. John 13, verse 1.
John 13, verse 1. Now before the feast of Pesach, Yahushua, knowing that his hour has come or was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end.
So again, I didn't even prepare this. I didn't even prepare this, but this is again another witness. He didn't die on Passover. It's saying he knew his hour had come before Passover, that he should depart out this world. So how you got him dying on Passover when he's telling you, John said he knew his hour had come before Passover. Now, before I make my point, y'all say, you got something?
Yeah, and then like, I don't know if we just also at the end of that first verse, having loved his own which were in the world, you know what I'm saying? Like, you were in the world.
That's the point I was going to. You see how this happens? Me and him ain't talk. I didn't have this prepared. It ain't on the notes. It just caught my eye.
Love his own, which were in the world. Yeah.
You love the church?
Nope.
Love his own. To the end. When you feel like you can't hold on, you got the king right here.
And also, if I'm off, you can tell me, but also we know it says that he's the firstborn of all creation, but all things created by him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then having loved his own it accentuates the point even more that he created this whole order through the blessing of the authority of the Father. He created this whole order, and through that he chose you, having loved you, his own. He said, well, Father, let me get up out my throne and go down there, because I got to make sure this order stays established. That whole thing, it's been in the book the whole time. Yeah, it's so powerful. It's been in the book the whole time. This came to me at work. I was like, I had to get my hard copy out, because I'm like, wait, did I just read that? It's been in the, how many times have we read John, babe? We read this chapter, having loved his own until the end. How you talking about it don't matter about nothing?
How is it supersessionism if it says to the end?
To the end.
So now we all, no, we're not.
How you replacing us with a potpourri? You ain't baptized. You ain't circumcised. You ain't keeping no Torah. You haven't port in the church basement at your little pastor appreciation meals. Loved his own to the end. This is what you gotta hold on to, family.
Shalaki, and we got to remember what I referred to earlier. Like you said, I mean, my sheep, I know my sheep. My sheep know me. They hear my voice. They know my voice. They follow me. Everybody is not his. Everybody is not his. So when he say my own, he already told you that his is set apart. His is set apart. He has a set apart. Oh man, this is crazy.
But Gerald, that's why that definition, that Hebrew definition of lakam we was talking about, makes so much sense. The shepherd who separates by the blood. That's why he is the lakam, and he was born in the house of bread. Like, it makes so much. When you start catching that Hebrew, it makes so much sense. The shepherd, you just said, my sheep know my voice. A sheep that knows the master's voice, the person's voice is the shepherd. The shepherd is right there in the lakam, the shepherd staff. That's the first letter.
Everything connects. That's why we spend so much time in this language, and that's why I didn't come up with this. This is Abba, or this is Yahushua whispered in my ear from the Father. It makes us feel good to get these confirmations. I'm a dirtbag. I'm like apostle. When apostles show up, I'm the least of all the apostles. You see how it hits you in the heart?
So you're not. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Salaki. So you know how people, because you just said it and it registered. You know how people say they heard this, you hear this voice in your ear and they try to make you think it's a little good angel and a bad devil on one side and a good angel on another side. But no, to righteous people, that voice you hearing, that voice isn't. And isn't there a scripture that says you would hear my voice and it would tell you which way to go? It would. What's that prophetic verse? If somebody know what I'm talking about, where he say you will hear a voice tell you which way to go, if you should go to the right or you should go to the left.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We looking at, I mean, he got his shirt on today. He ain't got his shirt on today, Gerald. We're going to have to give him some time.
You gotta get your ear.
But no, you got to give us some more, though. That's not enough meat on the bone, Gerald, because it's a couple of them sound like that.
But I know which one I'm talking about, and it's gonna register to y'all. But it's exactly what you're.
3, he would direct your path, or it's
Is
probably
it 1 Kings 19? And after the earthquake of fire, but Yahweh was not in the fire, and after the fire, a still small voice.
That's one, but that ain't the one I'm talking. I'm talking about a prophetic end times one. It's a prophetic end times one. I think it's in like Isaiah or like. But it's exactly what y'all saying. It's exactly what y'all saying, and I'm thinking, because how people always been saying you hear a voice in your ear, a little voice in your ear tell you what to do. But some people say it's a devil because they say it's the little bad voice. But to a righteous people, us understanding that Yahweh Shai is speaking to us and He's directing us, when we hear these things and we just like, I just heard something, I don't know what it was. Well, this is exactly what it was. This is what it is to a righteous person. It's Yahweh Shai speaking to you.
And you know the real difference why they can't discern it, because they don't have the Torah.
Exactly.
So in there they'll hear it. Something told me to do this, but I didn't do it, and now this evil has come upon me. Well, if you knew the Torah, if you knew the law, then you would have known and discerned whose voice that was speaking to you. You'd have known if it's Hasatan or if it's Hamashiach. But exactly what you're saying is right, Gerald. Exactly what you're saying is right. So now, in these days, when these hard words come out, people are going to automatically assume it's Hasatan, what we're saying. Oh, that's the devil y'all talking about worshiping. God loves everybody. What you mean He going to cut people off and kill them? That's of the devil. But because they don't have the law, this walk is going to be foolishness to them. That's 1 Corinthians 2.
Yeah. And another one, Gerald, is Revelation 3. He says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come to him, or come into him, and will sup with him, and he with me.
It's a couple of them. Like, the steps of a righteous man are ordered, and every man, what it says, a man plants his ways, but the Most High directs his. So it's a couple of them like that. This is all the heritages we got coming back to this law, and most of us only been in this thing. Me and Gina only really, I say, full time since 2016, maybe. We only got like 5 years in, and you see how this truth catapults you light years ahead of church folks, because the Most High see your heart. You travel from where, Raleigh? How many times you traveled an hour for church? Most High sees that and honors that, blesses your house. That's why we do this. That's why.
Isaiah 30:21.
Bring it up.
All right, Isaiah 30:21. This King James, I just got there quick. And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. So that voice, that way, we know who that way is. We know what that voice is now. That's what we've been drilling home. Like, we hear Yahweh Shai. He speaks to us. It ain't some random strange spirit. It ain't some random, like, that's what it is to a righteous person.
All praises. Hallelujah. I got a bookmark. That was a good precept. Hallelujah. This is the glory of the Most High by his Son, and he's faithful to the end, family. He's faithful to the end.
Can I read this in the Septuagint full context real quick?
When you read this in Septuagint, it's saying, and it's so true. I'm gonna just read it first. And Yahweh will give you the bread of oppression and scant water, and those who mislead you will not approach you any longer, because your eyes will look at those who mislead you, and your ears will hear the words of those who mislead you from behind. Those who say, this is the way, let us go upon it, whether right or left, and you will defile the silver-plated and gold-plated idols. You will make them into tiny pieces, and you will scatter them like water of a woman who is sitting apart, and you will thrust them out like dung. So it's showing us there that, to me, I could be off. It's just the first quick glance reading. But it seems like as the healing and stuff is coming and the mercy is coming upon us, we'll look at those like the pastors who was misleading us, and we'll be able to discern that they are misleading us.
Like what's happening now.
And we'll cast down the idols that was placed before us and remove and scatter the idols. So that's pretty tough.
That's what's happening right now
Yeah,
in captivity.
right now, we're doing that.
Yeah.
We're casting all that down and we're going up, setting apart. We're straying the other way.
Hallelujah.
Well,
That's a power. And it definitely reads better in the Septuagint. That's a great precept, Gerald. It just reads a lot better in the Septuagint. That's why we're switching over. It's to me it's more succinct in the Septuagint. All praises. All praises. So we're about to wrap this up with Daniel. And y'all know this story. Y'all been reading this story since you were kids. But the question that you have to meditate on, seriously, I know we went over a lot and we make this fun and relatable for everybody, but it's a serious question. Who can count on you? Who can count on you? We got people here, new teachings, and oh my God, he said the Messiah wasn't killed on Passover. I gotta leave him. And can we count on you? Can we count on you? We're going to go to Daniel 2 and start at verse 10.
Gotta hit the read mode up there.
No, I gotta get to the right chapter. I was trying.
Oh, it ain't.
Yeah, it wasn't acting right. Daniel chapter 2, starting at verse 10. I'm just gonna let you go out 10 to 25.
It says, the Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter, for as much as no king, lord, nor ruler have asked such a thing of any magician or enchanter or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can show it before the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh.
Now, two things that stuck out to me here. The first thing is, y'all know the backstory when Nebuchadnezzar had that dream, but the Most High didn't let him remember the dream. But when he woke up, he says, bring all the wise men and astrologers, tell me my dream. I can't remember it, but y'all better tell me my dream or I'm killing all of y'all. And now his astrologers are pleading their case like, king, you're asking us to do something. You can't even remember the dream, but you want me to interpret the dream. So the astrologers are pleading for their lives, saying, king, no man on earth can do this. But this is what I stuck out. This is how you know Yah is with the children of Israel. And this is why he's going to rain down havoc on these pagans. This astrologer says, where's it at? I was like, oh my goodness. He says,
it is a rare thing that the king required.
Right. And he says,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, you about to say, except the gods whose dwelling is not with flesh. So y'all know those idols are dumb, but yet you still worshiping the idols. How dumb are you, or how blind are you to be in Babylon and you're telling your king only the gods in the heavens can tell this, and they're not in these idols?
That's like Abraham and his father. It's that he's a dumb idol. Why are you doing
I was just about to say that, Yashia. It's that same spirit.
You see, so that's why when Yahweh rained down vengeance, you and I, like I said, I'll probably shed a tear if my brother fall, but I can't feel too sorry for you.
Yeah. And the reason why too, another reason why it would be greater and the king would do it in this way as well, even though he just couldn't remember. But if you were to tell them your dream, you can make up something.
Right.
You could just say, oh, well, this means that, and this means this, my king, boom, boom, boom.
Oh, but look, that's another point. I didn't mean to cut you off. That's another point, but let's keep reading, because Nebuchadnezzar know the astrologers have been lying. He said, y'all gonna tell me this dream, or I'm gonna kill y'all, because y'all been lying anyway about all the stuff y'all been prophesying. So it's like, you know these astrologers lie, but to keep y'all lies up, y'all just go along and get along. So you astrologers know the idols are dumb and can't say nothing. Nebuchadnezzar, you know the astrologers have been lying, prophesying, but you just keep them around. You see how y'all's just gonna come down and just blow on y'all, and y'all gonna be no more? Let's finish this up.
For this cause, the king was angry and furious and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. So the decree went forth, and the wise men were to be slain. And they sought Daniel and his companions to be slain. Then Daniel returned answer with counsel and prudence to Arioch, the captain of the king's guards, which was going forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, wherefore is the decree so urgent from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel, and Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would appoint him a time, and he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire the mercies of the Elohim of the Shemayim concerning this secret, that Daniel and his companions should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon.
Here in captivity, righteous Daniel, and his companions were law keepers, but still had to go to Babylon. And in Babylon, they didn't forget the ways of Yah. So here's Yah again, we're in trouble. Daniel is one of the wise men and his companions, and Daniel knew I can trust on them to talk to Yah. I'm going to fast and pray, and I trust y'all reputation is solid. Y'all didn't get over here in Babylon and get enamored with the gold and all bowing down the music. Can we count on you with these days coming? Can the nation count on you? Or are you going to fold and tuck it in? No, I wasn't wearing fringes. No, I wasn't at that Shabbat class. You got to ask yourself, look yourself in the mirror. And already your mind got to, you can't wait till they're about to snatch little man up. You got to make up your mind right now. Y'all can bring him back to me. Y'all can have y'all fall. Y'all can open the jails. You have to know. That's why we read this. You got to make your mind up now. And we count on you. Read on, Ab.
And they would desire the mercies of the Elohim of the Shemayim concerning this secret, that Daniel and his companions should not perish with the rest of the men in Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a vision of the night. Then Daniel blessed the Elohim of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of our Elohim forever and ever. For wisdom and might are his, and he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom to the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank thee, I praise thee, hallelujah, O Elohim of my fathers, who has given me wisdom and might, and has made known to me what we desired of thee. For thou hast made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went unto Arioch, whom the king had appointed to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said unto him, destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the children of the captivity of Yahweh. I have found a man of the children of the captivity of Yahweh that will make known unto the king the interpretation.
They called on Daniel, and Daniel called on his companions who he knew were living right. Wasn't faking the funk in front of the crowd. Bless Yahuwah. Oh, Yahuwah move. Oh, we had a good time. But when you go back home, you're full of the devil. Talking to your wife all crazy. Stealing from people. This ain't a weekend warrior type of atmosphere we in. Can we count on you? Can we count on you? This is serious, family. Let's go and finish this. It happens again. Let's go Daniel 3.
And the magnitude of this is so big when you try to put it in today's time. It's like he went to the head of the FBI.
Right.
Like, really?
This
like,
is when they investigate people in Congress, what's
Supreme Court or
those when they pull like the
like a hearing,
what those hearings on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
Huh? Congressional. This is a congressional hearing. Yeah.
Like this.
Everybody's up here.
This is serious.
This is serious.
That's why I try to like make it to something like, yo, he just went. It said he went to the dude that's in charge of killing y'all. That would be like me going up into like one of the leaders in the FBI or the CIA and was like, hey, the Most High told me to drink. Like, I can go talk to the president. You see what I'm saying?
That's the power and confidence, huh?
I say you walk right on in.
They're like, yeah, we're gonna bring this man from the captivity to the White House.
You walking in there, not with no three-piece Armani suit on, you walking in there with fringes and hair wrap. I got a word from the Most High. Okay. Oh, all right. It's kind of weird. Like, what university you from? Oh, I didn't finish my. I didn't. So are you part of the? Because you know that they got official clergies for the United States and all that stuff, right? Are you part of the clergy? No, I don't get down with them. That's it, the Most High. Boom, 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 boom.
See what I'm saying?
Let's finish this up. Daniel 3. It happens again.
Thou, O king, has made a decree that every man shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, the dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast appointed over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
No, those I think those are
Oh yeah, they're
Babylonian names.
Yeah. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar answered and said unto them, is it of purpose, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that ye serve not my God, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if you be ready, that at what time ye the sound of the cornet, the flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, or dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made, well, but if you worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said unto the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer thee in this matter. O Joe Biden, we have no need to tell you the matters of what's going to happen to this nation. If it be so, our Elohim, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
So we know he's able, but even if he don't deliver us, I'm not worshiping your government. So even if he don't recover my mother, I'm not faltering. I'm not going to stop studying. I'm not going to stop. That's what the enemy is just looking for your button. That's all. Oh, you scared about your child getting sick? Oh, watch this. You scared about your job? Watch this news report. He's looking for your button. And he wants you to turn away from those scriptures. You've been studying 30 days strong, and now little sickness come. I don't want to hear no verses. Now, boo mad at you. I don't want to. Now your mom don't want you over the house no more. Now your son ain't calling you. Every time I call you, Dad, you want to talk about that Hebrew stuff. Oh, well, son, good luck with your life. I'm pressing on. Can we count on you? You got to answer that question. Read on.
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded certain mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their hosen, their tunics, and their mantles, and the other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
So this is when the threats come. I'm going to make this real tight. You won't be able to get out. I bow down to your statue. I'm about to kick you out your house. You know, tomorrow says it's going to be 30 degrees. It's going to be snowing. All you got to do is come out and get jabbed up real quick and go back in the house. All you got to do is just eat a little slither of the fat back. You throw it up when you get in the house.
Some bacon, egg, cheese.
Just say Jesus is Lord. No. Well, yeah, Jesus is Baal.
Just trying to give you an opt-out.
What's going to be your trigger to get you off your square? Because all it takes is one. I seen Yakanah eating ham, so I don't want to hear nothing he got to say.
You know, my Rod, they've been doing this, exactly what you're saying. And we know that's how Hasatan works, so it's nothing new under the sun. But even down to, well, if you get the shot, we give you free 30 minutes with a prostitute. Like that's old news now, but yeah, they even did that. Because you really hit the head on the nail on the head, like you said. He's trying to. So they said
breaking the law.
He said, "Look, you get the
this is madness.
You get the shot. We gonna give you get free McDonald's. You get free Krispy Kreme.
That don't work.
You get free. We give you $100. We know they're gonna go because they poor. They ain't got nothing. $100 they'll get.
You know how much Newports you can buy with $100?
Whenever they would put people in that draw, the
drawing for $1 million. Yeah, we'll pay your college tuition. We'll put you in a drawing monthly. We'll give you a chance every month to get $1 million. You know what? That don't work. All right, you get 30 minutes with a prostitute. We'll do that. I'm like, that's how I know, like, yeah, this is it.
This is wicked.
This is the end.
So for us, it's going to be, you ain't on the register for a shot. You got to get evicted.
Yeah.
You got to get fired.
Yep. They're going to keep
you got 20 days.
Like, well, we know what's coming.
Yeah, out my jail.
You can't go into the stores and buy food. That's what's coming. It's written, and it's what's coming.
Can we count on you, family?
Now, I do want to say this. It's the same point about like what you said about Montel, because we know that they're going to go a little bit, come back, go a little until it's final and it's done. But about standing on your ground, bearing your cross
taking a stand.
Keep taking a stand.
So Arizona, I'm seeing an article coming out because I asked them now that they're starting to pull back before they unleash whatever the next thing is, they're pulling back the mandates. They're pulling back in different countries, states, all over, right, for now. So then I'm like, well, what about all the people who gave in and took the shot or who got fired for not taking their shot, like Montel? So, and then I was like, man, I don't know. So then my friend, my roommate sent me an article because he said, hey, we was just talking about this. So in Arizona, I ain't even go into detail about it. I'm just going to speak on the headline that I saw. But they're saying that in Arizona, they're having court hearings about giving those people their jobs back and paying their salary for all the time that they missed. So if that's the case, that goes exactly what we've been talking about. We don't know. Remember how we said earlier, the Most High is doing things that it looked like it's just they changed their mind. Right. But it could be the Most High the whole time. And he's like, yeah, see, if you just stand your ground now, you prove to me that you with me. You didn't even know I was going to give you the whole salary back.
I was just saying that.
We were just talking about that.
I was just saying that. Those people, yeah, I was just
talking about this week. I said, babe, she said, Regina says, I bet those people who took the jab feel like a fool now.
Exactly. Now, they're big, but see, that's how you know that this mark of the beast, it's in different phases and stages. You've been marked already. You're done. You're in the first stage. So, you done proved to me you're not with God. You're not with, or you're not with the Most High Creator of heaven and earth. You don't have no faith in me. You have faith in them. And I'm gonna make it so crazy that even in the same 2 years, I'm gonna have them reverse everything that they just did. Now you looking real stupid.
Real stupid. Got your children jabbed up.
Cause we can say
now they started 6 months. They about to get that emergency approval.
Now we know what's coming, but let's say look, we gonna go with it ain't the end time. They just reversing it. It was over. It's over.
To see who's are easy pickings and see who's are rebels.
Right. So if we're wrong, okay, it's not the end of the world. Right. It's not over yet. We didn't give up and take the shot though, so we could just continue on and get it going. But those ones that took the shot, you know now, like it's no reason for you to ever have taken it. And we know that means you've been separated. You've been marked already.
You've been marked. This was a trial run. And Most High orchestrated.
And it's not over. I'm just saying.
No, it's not. It's far from over.
It's not over. It's not over.
But again, like we're saying, the Most High is orchestrating all this, and now the government knows who our easy pickings is. Yep. They know who our hard targets are.
Because for us, they already know they're gonna have to get the ones like us when it's at the very end, when it's like, okay, well, we coming door to door, we're locking you up. That's us, but even Hasatan, we know the Most High gave him power of the earth, so to do his job. His job is to get the people to agree. They want you to give yourself up.
Yeah.
So you
make it easy for them.
Right. You can't say
do my job.
Exactly. You can't say like, oh, I was this, I was that. No, you voluntarily.
You went to them.
New oral order.
You went to them for Krispy Kreme.
I want my attorney.
Put a hot light on.
That's I want my attorney. I want
LAWY.
What other reason would they give you an incentive? Yeah. They're giving you an incentive, so you it's a covenant.
So you're getting incentives and you're getting demands. You're getting a slew of things. It's like almost like, why are you coming so hard?
It's a marriage. It's a covenant. Just like we got our covenant. They want you to, because they want you marked. That's why it's a mark. Because you're like, oh yeah, well, they told me I keep my job, covenant. They told me that I can keep, because they're gonna do it with apartments too. Yeah. They told me I keep my house, covenant, marriage. Yeah. Oh well, we'll give you some food for a year. Yeah. That's a dowry.
That's all contracts. You do this, you get this. That's what we got. Exactly. We do this, we keep this law, we get blessed. Yeah. So y'all enter contracts with the devil.
And it's relevant because he just offered him the same thing. He just said, look, you live, everything is looking good, just when you hear the music.
Bow down worship, and you go back to being a wise man, all the good days of Babylon.
Didn't they have a job?
Yeah, they were wise men in Babylon. They wasn't working because
Exactly. They was over the
They were
Israelites.
over Israelites. So they wasn't field people. They had it good in Babylon.
Exactly. A good job.
Good job.
They were
You imagine you can feel they feeding the fire while they tying you up. You can feel that heat. And at any time, oh, okay, I'll just plan. No, I just say, go ahead, tie me up. Go ahead. This is real, family. Let's finish this up. I'm getting a little finished.
And then what, verse 22?
Yeah, come.
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace was exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound, tied up into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished and rose up in haste. He spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast three men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see four men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the aspect of the fourth is like the son of the gods.
He looks like an angel. That's the aspect of the son of God. He looks like a Malachian. He's huge in there. So feed me, put me in jail. The Most High can send a bird flying all the way through the jail, and then CO's like fighting this bird. They can't get him. The bird fly right into your cell and drop you some food.
The Mashiach or whatever is telling me to say this, or it's just in my spirit to say this. This is a Hebrewism. This is a Hebrewism of us right now.
Right now in the
three men tied. We're tied, meaning we're in captivity, back, not helpless. Ain't nothing we can do. And we're in the middle of the fire, surrounded by all these heathen nations. Jacob's trouble, because it's been happening the whole time, but in the midst of the captivity, when it's nothing you can do, Most High sends his son to save us once again. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Is he worthy to be praised? He's worthy to be praised.
Can I land me back off that?
Come on,
Because I've been
dog.
holding on to this since last night. And I was actually talking to Antoine about it a little bit. But it says, can we go to 2nd Ezra chapter 7? There was something I was talking to Antoine about last night. I'll let y'all finish, but we can come back to it.
I'll read it real quick.
Yeah, let me go there real quick. Let me get there with you. Then we'll come back to that. I think they got it here. Let me go back. Does he got the pocket for you? You said 2nd Ezra? Yep. He said 2nd or 1st?
Second, chapter 7. Put it on speaker, that way y'all can hear me more clearly. So I was talking to Antoine a little bit about this, and could somebody read verses 6 to 14?
6 to 14. I got it. You can. Okay. This is 2nd Ezra 6 or 2nd Ezra 7, I believe. 2nd Ezra 7, verse 6. Another thing also, there's a city builded and set in a plain country and full of all good things. But the entrance thereof is narrow, this is my verse, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, having a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. And there is only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now be given unto a man for an inheritance, if the heir pass not the danger before him, how shall he receive his inheritance. And I said, it is so, Adonai. This said he unto me, even so also is Yashar'Alah's portion. Because for their sakes I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, my Torah, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the interests of this world made narrow and sorrowful and toilsome. There are but few and evil, full of perils, and charged with great toils. Verse 13, for the interests of the greater world are wide and sure, and bring forth fruit of immortality. If then they that live enter not these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. Now therefore, why disquietest thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? And why hast thou not considered in thy mind that which is to come, rather than that which is present? I'll keep going. Where you at?
No, that's it. I appreciate it. So this is what I yesterday. I was just sitting here thinking, and then Antoine just so happened to call me while I was thinking about it. So I just brought it up to him, and I had him look it up, and I sent it to Shamar so he can read it out for y'all. But when I was thinking about this captivity, Shamar just said it, it's the furnace. This adversity that we're going through is the furnace that Ananiah, Azariah, and Masha'al was going through in the furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the three holy children. Then I was like, well, wait a minute, man. On one side is fire and the other side is a deep water. What's happening? What usually is happening on the west coast of America, y'all?
It's fire.
Now, read what I just sent you, Shamar, about on the left side. We're dealing with hurricanes and all of that stuff. Read that, Shamar.
All I got is the 5 deepest points of the world's oceans. Is that what you're talking about?
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
The Pacific Marina. It says that the new survey has shown that the deepest point of the trench is a meteor deep at 8,265 meters and is located within the waters of the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay, so Shamar had brought out a few months back that we're separated from Abraham's bosom by a great gulf fixed, a great deep of water. And until we can traverse the water, we won't be able to get it. We can see it. Like spiritually, we see the end, but we know that some things need to take place first. Through Hamashiach, when he puts all things under his feet, we also can put all things under our feet as well. That's why Kappa or Peter was able to walk on the water as well. So I'm looking at this thing and it says the way to that place filled with all good things is narrow and dangerous. And the only way through is this narrow way that only one person at a time can go. So we know in the midst of this captivity, in the midst of all of the things happening, even though we feel like people are waking up so slow, the Most High still doing his work, getting us prepared for these times. And I just looked at everything that's happening, man. This country, especially because we know that Yahweh or Judah gonna be saved first. I was like, man, this thing really is the Most High really be making this thing practical for me. So I just wanted to bring that up and just to see y'all thoughts on it.
No, it's dead on. It ties perfectly in with that Hebrewism that Shemaiah brought out, and that portion where he says that the path is so narrow, only one man can pass at a time. Then he says, I'm going to take one of a family. My wife is the only one of her dad's children or mom's children. I'm the only one of my dad or mom's children. You're the only one of your dad or mom's children.
Yeah. Same situation.
You see how everything lines up when we learn this thing from a Hebraic perspective?
Yeah.
All this is not for naught. These artists talking, speaking for hours at a time, stand up at night till your eyes are bleeding, like, wait a minute, this ain't connected, wait a minute. And y'all telling you, turn to this verse. This is real. This is what we're gonna need when they flick that button and the grid goes dark. Ain't no Facebook, ain't no IG. So you just can't go to YouTube and copy someone's breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna see how much you really in tune with y'all then.
Yeah.
Because that's what you got going on.
Yeah.
Y'all my witnesses.
Yeah.
You got people just copying people's breakdown, and now there's nothing wrong. That's what we teach for, so you can learn and teach it. But when you go plagiarize and like you some great
Like this, yeah, yours. You ain't invent this. You copied off another man.
didn't
Okay,
say
now I'm glad you said that, because here's a question that I had. And in your Ramya, wasn't that what the Most High was alluding to when he was saying like the burden of Yah? And then I gotta Yah help me out with it. I can't remember exactly where it is, but he was saying, go after, and this was after he had him prophesying. He said, don't go out and speak no more. If somebody asks you what the burden of Yah is, you respond to them and saying, what did Yah say to you? What has Yah said to you? Is that what he was alluding to? So this whole time, Yeramyah, the Most High was using Yeramyah to bring prophecy and tell the people to repent, but of course they were being hard-hearted. And then after a while, that verse, I'd have to find it and send it, but I just wanted to know if that what he was saying to tell Jeremiah. Let me see if I can find it.
No more for this people.
that's when we gotta bear these false prophets now. All these teachers leading people astray, we gotta bear them now. But that's what you guys, your spirit is bearing witness. Y'all being Bereans, you're supposed to, like Hamashiach said in Matthew 10, see if that house is worthy. Some of these teachers ain't worthy. Some of these teachers shouldn't be teaching. You're teaching for super
It's Jeremiah
donations.
Jeremiah 23 verses 32 through 35, y'all. If I just want understanding if that's what that's what he was saying, even in the book of Jeremiah. 23 verses 32 through 35.
You got it out.
23, 33.
23:33. What verse did you pull?
32 through 35.
I got it. So Jeremiah 23 at 32. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith Yahweh, and do tell them and cause my people to err by their lies and by their likeness. Yet I set them not, nor commanded them, therefore they shall not profit this people at all, saith Yahweh. 33, and when this people or the prophet or a priest shall ask thee, saying, what is the burden of Yahweh? Thou shalt then say unto them, what burden? I will even forsake you, saith Yahweh. And as for the prophet and the priest and the people that shall say, the burden of Yahweh, I will even punish that man and his house. Thus shall ye say, everyone that to his neighbor and everyone to his brother, what hath Yahweh answered, and what hath Yahweh spoken? I'm gonna finish it off. And the burden of Yahweh shall he mention no more, for every man's word shall be his burden, and ye have perverted the words of the living power, and Yahweh of hosts, our Allah, of Yahweh of hosts, our Elohim. Thus shalt thou say to the prophet, what hath Yahweh answered thee, and what hath Yahweh spoken? But since ye shall say, or since ye say, the burden of Yahweh, therefore, thus saith Yahweh, because ye say this word, and the burden of Yahweh, and say, I have sent unto you, saying, ye shall not say the burden of Yahweh. Therefore, behold, even I, will utterly forget you, and will forsake you in the city and that I gave you and your fathers, and had cast you out of my presence.
It sounds like, to me, it does sound like he's chin checking them. Like, yeah, you're prophesying. Go ahead, let's see what the Most High. To me, it's in the right. It does sound like he's testing them to expose the false prophets.
It sounds like to me kind of too what he was saying that we read in Isaiah earlier, that you're gonna be awakened to the falsehoods of the false prophets, and we won't hear their words. And then also is to me about the burden is saying there is no burden.
Right.
It's saying there is not a burden. You saying that it's a burden, and because you're saying it's a burden, I'm gonna cast you out, forget you. And then there's the precept that says his commandments are not grievous. So then there is no burden.
So he's testing them to expose their falsehoods. And that's what's going to happen. All these brothers popping up, they don't know what burden it is to come to the forefront. So it's just, you guys got to continue to be Bereans. That's why that plumb line is so powerful. This doesn't save anybody. And if anyone can't adhere to that, they shouldn't take offense to it. That should encourage them or challenge them. Okay, let me go, like we were saying earlier about the calendar. We've exhausted the calendar for 3 years, even before you got here, but it's still, can we find some more black and white witnesses? So that's how y'all gotta vet these people. Let's finish this up, y'all. Can we count on you? Who can count on you? We're gonna wrap this up with Daniel chapter 3, the last, verse 26, is it?
It says, and they have no hurt. I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the aspect of the fourth is like a son of the gods. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you servants of the Most High Elohim, or God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth out of the midst of the fire, and the satraps, deputies, governors, and the king's counselors, the whole government, being gathered together, saw these men that they had no fire upon their bodies, nor was the hair of their head singed, neither were their clothing changed, nor had the smell of fire passed on them. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and have yielded their bodies that they may not serve nor worship any God except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut into pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that is able to deliver them after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. And that's exactly like that reversing of what we just talked about earlier.
How can your God, your power, get glory if you're going along with Babylon? So again, I'm going to end this class with a question to us all, from me down to you. Who can count on you? I love when I read this, Nebuchadnezzar himself said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. on your handouts, you see in parentheses, will anyone mention the God of Shemariah, the God of Gina, the God of Yashaya, the God of Yakanah? Will anyone mention the God of Nariah, the God of Gerald, the God of Montel? Will you be counted? Will you be the one we're counting on? Will someone mention the God of you? That's the question that I want y'all to meditate on, because this is where we're at. We're no longer saying the days are coming. The days are here. The days are here. And everyone who's fake and phony and just learning these Hebrew phrases and blessed by the blessed and oh, Yahuwah this, and they're going to crumble. They're after a buck. They're after shine. They're going to crumble when these days come. Who can count on you, family? With that, I yield.
Hallelujah. That was a great